Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? No, this is the shooter with the Nazi tattoo. Oh, as always, I forgot to feed ladies, so give me 1 second. There you go, baby. Barking wolfing. Jen AC from New Zealand, thank you very much for $2 sending love. Solar Lander, thank you for 28 months in a row. Y'all like this today. Jeez. Let me see if we can get some other lighting going on. That kind of goes with the fit, actually. Yeah, I kind of fuck with the red actually. I want a fur coat now. This is an actual fur coat. This is our newest. I say our because it's Ko and I are sharing it. This is our newest fur, and this literally fell in. Well, not literally, but it almost literally fell into my lap because I found it on the side of a road. And usually, when you see a coat or a piece of clothing on the side of the road, you go, "Ugh," and keep walking past it because it was in a pile of like kind of other discarded clothing, it looked like. And then I saw as I was walking, I was like, wait a minute, that's fur. And I was like, okay, no, it's got to be fake fur. And then I picked it up, and no, so this is part of the actual head of the animal. It's a real fur, and not only that, it was like brand new. It is so fucking soft. I Yeah, I was elated. I kept it a secret from Koa and surprised her with it. That's gnarly. That's Well, so what I think happened is I found it around the corner from a kind of not a vintage store, like a consignment clothing store, that kind of thing. I haven't actually ever Yeah, I don't think I've ever bought like a fur straight up. All of the one slightly more expensive coat that I have is is synthetic fur, and then the other two furs that Koa and I share, one of them is rough. I need to stop wearing it. I just love it so much. And then the other one Koa just got, and that was like 20 bucks, also somewhere. At one point, wearing fur got real paint thrown at you. Real fur got paint thrown at you. Literal video game lit. Y'all are cute. Girly girl 314. There's no hope. What makes you say that? Of course, there's hope. There's always hope. Kay, thank you very much for €2, giving my ex-husband mysteriously disappeared. Cat is over there. No, El Salve. So I know who you're talking about. The black teacher who was killed wasn't killed by ICE necessarily. It was not a example of ICE literally going up and shooting her like other people. She was killed as a result of a pursuit. So indirectly, ICE is responsible still, as far as my book goes. Oh, I do have actually. If we want to start off with something slightly, I want a fur coat, but IDK how it would fit me because I'm a fat dude. It would go fucking hard. It would go tough because fur coats always go tough. It's not about the coat. It's how you wear it. Like this is the thing. I wish more people realized from like the middle school, high school era where you got a lot of people who, like especially when I was coming up, the style era of like cool or edgy fashion was like Jinkos. Well, kind of. I was towards the end of Jinkos, but then shit like trench coats. You know, and it took a while for you to realize that, like, oh, okay, no, all these dorks in school who try and wear trench coats or longer coats, they look like dorks. And it's not because of the coat, it's because of the cut, it's because of the other things that they accessorize with. You need a jacket is not an outfit. A jacket goes with an outfit. Like you need to kind of bring your own style and swag to it, but you can do it. Hell yeah, Barry White made it work. So I do actually have. I want to see if I can find it really quick, or I should. Give me 1 second, because I found somebody who was hate watching me, and I'm so curious. Well, we'll start off with a little dead domain hate watcher action before, because that'll be, I think, fun. Before going into, and I need to be so clear. Um, Going into ice, and when we talk about ice today, it's it's going to be a rough one. It's going to be a rough one. Hairless Grizzly, I'll give that a try. Then when I'm not broke, I I I recommend thrift stores. Like I say this having found a jacket on the side of the road, but also the other two furs I have, thrift stores. Well, and so Gen AC, I think trench coat will always have a poor connotation. It's because people want the cut that people think the trench coat is going to give them. What they want is actually a very well fitted pea coat, generally speaking. Demon Fox Akira, thank you for $2. Kind of like the Kakashi jacket you make it work. Do people wear the Kakashi jacket? What do you mean the Kakashi jacket they make from Naruto? What do you mean? Hey, 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 Demon Fox Akira, what do you mean by that? Thrift stores have been becoming expensive lately. So what you got to do, and maybe this isn't for everybody, because I've noticed when I go to other cities' thrift stores, well, it depends on the district you're in, right? Like when I was I went thrifting with a friend when I was in LA, and she knew all the cool spots that you could find like decent deals, and it was it's stuff like Value Village. But then there's like a difference between the Value Village in I don't remember where we were. One of them we went to was in WeHo, and that was like a little bit more expensive, a little bit more bougie. And then the other one was like, okay, this is like the normal person one, right? And so like having those, there's different strata that you want to kind of go for, because yeah, it is fucking annoying as hell. There was we're looking for a I'm looking for a new wallet lately, and there's a shop near me that is fun to look at, but everything there is stupid expensive because it's been like plucked clean, and it's the like resold, retooled vintage type thing where it's like, oh, here are these really cool t-shirts, they're $70 a piece. And it's like, man, I don't no, I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that. Like my upper limit for a t-shirt at a fucking thrift store is going to be like $15. Hey baby. Do you want the rest of this energy drink? Okay, I will bring it to you. All right, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. What the fuck? I don't know why. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, Redacted Dallas. So when I was a couple years back when I was flipping and like buying, flipping like classic and retro toys, I did a couple lots at Goodwill. Goodwill's on like become such an online store. It's kind of fucking crazy. All right, HTC, thank you for 24 months in a row. Am I having problems with Twitch and YouTube? I don't think so. Why? Is everything else okay? Am I giving problems with Twitch and YouTube? Let's go to. You may offer a cutie a sip of energy to entice them, or however that cheese thing goes. The YouTube is down. I'm seeing a bunch of people in YouTube chat. It must just be like sporadic outages, because I haven't seen. Yeah, I'm looking at stream quality good, no drop frames. All right. Raphael Brando 90s, thank you for following. Safe way to look online for protests near me. I mean, okay. Any more to look online? So I want to talk about the surveillance thing because I have not. Friend of mine online, Taylor Lorenz, has been really hammering on the surveillance apparatus. And I feel I have not been doing my due diligence to draw attention to it, mostly because I kind of, and this is wrong of me, I understand, but I kind of assume everybody understands that we've been under surveillance in everything you do for the last 30 years. And I feel like a lot of people underestimate what, like, the extent to which that is true. Oh my goodness, holy shit. The Noisy Immigrant, thank you for rating with a party of 79. We're just getting started. Grits Mang, Tora Ember, 6 Factorial, thank you for following. We are talking about surveillance apparatus shit. Where do we stand with Taylor Lorenz? I lose track of people doing crappy things or not. I think Taylor is somebody with her heart in the right place who I think is hyper fixated on some things that I know a lot of other people don't like and don't like to hear. But ultimately, I kind of think Taylor's right about most of the things she says, even if I don't agree with the fervency with which she pursues things like particularly COVID and COVID masking. Like, those are things that a lot of people are kind of putting aside when no, she's absolutely right. More people still need to be masking. Like, more people need to take that shit into account. People don't like to hear that because just like during the pandemic, it's not fucking convenient, you know? Because even acknowledging that comes with it this tacit admission that none of the people who are even progressive are really trying to stop that anymore. We've all moved on, which sucks to acknowledge that. But yeah, like she's right about that. I don't do my part. A lot of people don't do their part. She's like Cassandra. Yeah, a little bit. I think Cassandra, if you're talking about Cassie Pritchard, I think Cassandra is more of a lib, where Taylor does a lot of, and Cassandra does do a lot of good good work online. But Taylor has been doing a wonderful job of keeping track of. If you don't follow Taylor Lorenz on Twitter, I believe she's on Blue Sky. Oh no, this isn't about the quartering. This video. This is a hater watching me. We're not doing much else. I found them because they subtweeted me. Somebody sent me their shit. They subtweeted me, but then blocked me, and then were like ranting and bitching about me on their stream. And so I watched like a couple seconds. Sorry. I didn't watch much. Liberal. All right, I'm going to unplug this, make sure my mouse gets working right. Oh, she is a Cassandra. Okay, gotcha. As in the... Okay. I thought you meant another... Yeah, okay. I gotcha. I got what you're saying, Darius. It's, Yeah, I like Taylor. Taylor has been... So, to go back to the original question, somebody was asking, is there a safe way to find out local protests? No. If here's the thing about algorithmic tracking, monitoring of data points is that even if you have somehow managed to not put your political opinions, which is a very hard thing to do right now, onto the internet, there are so many different ways and so many different inflection points where they don't even need to know exactly what your political alignment or beliefs are to align you with things based on your other preferences, based on the kind of music you're predisposed to liking, based on the podcasts you listen to, based on the audiobooks you're downloading. Like, the intricate web of data analysis has been so incredibly automated that there's simply no way to avoid it at this point. Like, and this is the thing where I have people, friends of mine who will say like, oh, you know, I deleted my Instagram. I deleted my Twitter. I don't want anybody tracking my info. And I'm like, if we're being so for real, that chance passed 10 years ago. Probably longer than that. If we're being honest. Sorry. My cat is sneezing over there. In some ways, the data trackers know us better than ourselves. I mean, does it mean I'm a... Lady is terrorizing her sister. Does that mean I'm a target if I watch a lot of leftist YouTubers? No. I mean, it is a matter of... It's a matter of balance. Because here's the thing. If the government really wants to crack down on you, they will. They just will. And that's part of the scary thing that we're going to be talking about with ICE. So to go back around to answer the question, find a protest in your area. As long as it is not something that is very blatantly some kind of op or some kind of honeypot or some kind of trick, as long as it is not people going like, hey, we're going to be here and burning this down and like we're going to have pallets of like, as long as it is not something that is very obviously entrapping you or inciting you to violence, if it is some local DSA protest, if it is some local, you know, this county Democrat, whatever, go to it. Because right now, the more important thing is saying, I would say, and I would stress this, you still want to stay anonymous to the people there. Like, if there's going to be Patriot Front, if there's going to be dickheads there, Black Bloc is still preferable, and I would recommend it to anybody who is not like me. And when I say that, I mean, like, people ask me in LA, people ask me when I go out to protest here, or whenever I do a video I'm going to a protest, people are like, why don't you cover up your face? And it's like, because I'm already known. Like, it's one of the reasons why I don't do I am not doing a lot of covert shit to hide my identity, because I'm already known. I have a massive internet trail by the nature of just YouTube and Twitch and all of the other shit I do, right? But that doesn't mean that that should be everybody, because it's not going to be. Like, you if you go out to a protest, yeah, do wear a mask. Not just a COVID mask, but and a mask to maintain your anonymity, right? Because the apparatus, like, there are multiple levels that you need to be working on to keep yourself and your community safe. One of them is doing what you can to I don't even know how at this point, but stopping information from getting into the hands of the government, which seems like folly. But more than that, the dipshit vigilante assholes who are going to want to try and dox you, who are going to want to try and just, the same people who were taunting Renee Good and Alex Preddy, like, there are people online who are just shitheads who will want to attack you and harass you if they can find you. So don't give them that. Like, there are multiple levels that you do need to be paying attention to and remaining vigilant on to keep yourself and your friends, family, community safe. Blowhigh Blast, thank you very much. Don't sign up for protests and RSVP you're going. Cover your face. Ideally, don't bring your phone, or if you do, put it in airplane mode. Don't use it as much as possible. Yes. Like, again, I know I'm a hypocrite and a liar because of that, because I do. If I go to a protest, I have my phone out. But again, that's because, like, I am not trying to not be tracked. Like, my shit is all over the place. People know what I'm about. Thank you very much, El Salve. Take this money to buy more clothes unless George Soros is paying you millions. I am not getting. Oh, I fucking wish. Millions to seduce and edge right-wing MAGA men, brainwashing them into an army of OF pay pig simp slaves to overthrow Trump. I wish I had that kind. I wish I had that kind of motion, but no, not me, unfortunately. Mr. Malachi, at smaller protests especially, people who are there or are all or virtually all just wearing normal clothes, hiding your face plus dressing in a nondescript way will make you stand out. Might raise suspicion from others, there for the same reason as you. What you do is up to you, but almost certainly be the weird one in black bloc. Yeah, and well, so you're not wrong. And I think it depends on, like, the tenor and tone, but usually you can find other people. It depends also on how big the protest is. Usually you can find other people also in black bloc, and you can usually go and hang out with them. But yeah, a lot of people are pretty hesitant to do that for that exact reason. I would say, Johnny Viral, while you're doing that, if you could pop my Ko-Fi link down in the chat. We overdrafted last night, and I want to thank everybody on social media who donated a little bit to help cover me and Koa. We are a couple dollars in the green now, at least for, what is today, the next 5 or 6 days. Any help is honestly appreciated. We just had some bills come out that we were not expecting. So donating at the Ko-Fi link particularly, Ko-Fi or PayPal directly, because it goes right into my PayPal account. So Johnny Viral over on YouTube, thank you for sharing that. I think YouTube is dead as a website. Hey, don't say that. I'm working hard over on YouTube. What are you doing? Missy Yikes Forever. Thank you for following. Oh, it's down. I mean, I got a video up right now on YouTube, so we'll see. Let's go to some. Could we pin those messages? I cannot right now. Let me do it in a little bit. Is there something wrong with YouTube's feed? Apparently it's down. People keep talking about that. Not loading homepage, everybody's feed. Huge amount of reports, so okay. I'm just gonna keep continuing. Everybody's talking about YouTube down. You can load channels. Got here from subscription tab. Oh, thank you. Jay Williams, yeah, my tweet engagement is, well, I had to check out. So this video is actually about one of my tweets, kind of. I think maybe I haven't seen the full thing. Yeah, I've had some good engagement on posts lately, and today I kind of decided, like, oh no, some dorks are not worth my time. Like, I cannot. There are some dickheads I'll dunk on and come back to dunk more on. Like random Russian lolly defender accounts who are trying to do this what about, is this you type bullshit, and they are grasping at the flimsiest straws possible. I'm like, not legitimately, straight up not worth my time. Well, it better be fixed by hopefully tomorrow, because I think my video with American McGee should be out relatively soon. If you haven't seen the cover art for that, I will show it off later. Yeah, Zen Mnemonic. I have a, well, I guess, you know what? Since I brought it up, I'll do that now. So this is the, I've been working on this video essay for a little while. This is the cover of it, but I interviewed American McGee, and the video will be about an hour long. It's a weird one. I'm not gonna lie. It's a weird one. It is not like kind of anything else I've done. And I think it's going to be coming out hopefully tomorrow if all the checks go okay. I completed editing today. I have to do a final pass, which means making sure the sound is like normalized, adding last minute effects and mostly music and sound stuff. But yeah, this will hopefully be out soon, and I hope it does well. Hope y'all are looking forward to it. It was an interesting, weird essay, and I was talking about at the beginning of the year, it is the kind of thing I want to do a lot more of this year, which is not just pop culture criticism, but pushing myself into different weird experimental things. The dude who made the Alice in Wonderland game, yeah. American McGee was the one who sent me. I have the Alice plushie right behind me, the Alice plushie Dreadful behind me, and a couple others after our interview. Wonderful, wonderful person. Was a really phenomenal interview. And I think I want to like maybe put the interview up, because I only used like 10 minutes of an hour-long interview, because we ended up, just like I do with a lot of my other interviews, we ended up just talking about shit. And so it just became like a really good conversation. So I'm gonna check with him and see if it's okay if I like cut that up and put that up as like a full interview. Alrighty. Oh no, Bloody Sphincters. We're talking. Jesus, what a username. We're talking about the skating rink shooter after the ice thing. But first, I want to hear what somebody has on me and being mad at me about something. But we'll have to go in and see why they're mad at me, because I don't remember why.
Where I gotta say, I hope everyone involved in the situation finds. All
right, this is from Brodan. I don't know from Brodan.
This is a time where I gotta say, I hope everyone involved in the situation finds a way to lose. You know, after having to parse through 10 minutes of trying to and puking and wanting to die, having to watch Dead Domain, that fucking freak. Let me make this very clear. I don't go fuck.
Woof. Okay. Promising start. No context for anything that's happening here.
Fuck. Dead Domain is an absolute mentally unstable fucking freak. That thing should be fucking put in a fucking having to watch.
All right, chat. We're gonna have to roll it back. Rolling, rolling. Oh, lady did not like that. Yeah, I'm cranking it up a little bit. Yeah, no, I know. Strong start. Starting off solid. And I don't know who is this Timu Slipknot I'm looking at on my screen right now.
Dead Domain. That fucking freak. Let me make this very clear. I don't go fuck. Dead Domain is an absolute mentally unstable fucking freak. That thing should be fucking put in a fucking psych ward. I don't know what's wrong with that motherfucker. I couldn't tell you. But they're crazy. They're fucking
True.
crazy.
I'm so crazy. You don't know which way I'm heading.
They're fucking insane.
Is that?
They're fucking crazy.
Oh, okay.
Like,
He wasn't done
I
talking.
don't even know. I don't even care their pronouns. I don't know what that thing is, but it ain't.
I can tell. I can already tell that this is a very good faith conversation, calling me a thing multiple times. Is that baby metal in the background? Is this AI? I can't tell if this is AI or just a shitty Photoshop filter. Slipknot, more like Slapnuts. Hey yo. Thank you just to be here. Kate thank you for another 2. Sounds like someone has Gooner's regret. Meredith Navin 1358, thank you for $5. Terrible joke. What's it called when someone is murdered by a cabbage? Slaughter. Hell yeah. That's not a terrible joke. That's a great joke.
Normal. You got food shops.
Okay, so this was over the other day. I should preface this a little bit why this came across my feed. The other day, I need to stop interacting with some of these people. But the other day, food shops, who, again, I don't really care that it was Hassan that food shops was attacking. What I care about is a pedophile making other trans people look bad right now. That's what I care about. I care about community protection. And as I talked about in the Destiny piece, that includes being vigilant against bad actors and policing people when you can. So, for example, food shops, who I was unaware of this person. I was pleasantly unaware of this person before a couple days ago, who is apparently a Destiny / Hutch orbiter, tried to vilify, like tag Twitch support on a post about Hassan, where Hassan was calling her a pedophile. And she was like, I can't believe Hassan would do this to a trans woman. This is basically a hate crime. Twitch, how can you let this stand? Now, the funny thing here, when you actually dug, like, just scratched the surface of it, food shops is a pedophile. Like, as in not in a way where people are like, well, no, actually it's just lolly. No. None of that bullshit. As in, she has literally said, and I quote, she has called herself a quote lowercase p pedophile on stream. She has said on video that her therapist assigned her lolly to stop her from becoming an offender. And then when she said that she doesn't think consuming lolly is the same as pedophilia, she said something to the effect of that she can't change her attractions, which is just, that's admitting that you have an attraction to children. So that's just being, you're just a pedophile. You're just a fucking pedophile. Food shops is a motherfucking pedophile. That's what that is. Lo and behold, food shops tried to do a video on me, or did a video on my piece on Destiny, and I don't think it got much motion at all, but I told her, among the other things, to keep my fucking name out of her mouth. And thus far, she has. So, good on you. That said, that led to a slight whirlwind for whatever reason. I don't know who this person is. Lower on the rung than even food shops. She used the term POCD, and I looked it up because I hadn't heard of it. Almost deleted my own OSF word. I'm not going to look it up. I don't know what it means. I'm good. POCD. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. I'm good. I've had so much nonsense come across my timeline lately. Fucking wild that Chibi Reviews is out here like doubling down on the lolly shit too. what did Hassan say to food shops? Hassan said, like, he called her a pedophile. Like, she said something, and he was like, wait, isn't this the person who's like an actual pedophile? Like, why would I care what they say? It's like, yeah. Anyway, that's what this person is talking about, that interaction. Now, I don't know why, and I can only speculate as to why me coming out against a pedophile would create such strong reactions in somebody. I can only speculate. So I wanted to watch this to see why they're actually mad at me. This is not food shops. This is Broden archived.
Who is also a mentally unstable freak and a creeper.
No. I need you to understand. This is their definition of a mentally unstable freak. Food shops, yes, accurate. And then me for reasons I still don't know. And that's kind of what I want to get down to the bottom of.
And then you have Hassan, who is a disgusting misogynist who is also a degenerate fuck. Somehow, I hope all of you find a way to lose in various different ways. So let's get into it. And if you guys don't know who Dead Domain is, lucky you. I have the misfortune of seeing this disgusting degenerate freaks shit on my timeline, and I've not been kind to tell you the truth. I can't. That fucking freak has no business speaking for the trans community. But unfortunately,
I love one of my favorite things is this neo-lib compunction to say this person as a ostensibly, I believe, cis white man, this person has no right to speak for the trans community. Okay, buddy, show me those bona fides, por favor.
that's the hand they're dealt, so they're cooked. If that's your representatives, I see why you're cooked. It's over. Not saying you should have stuck with Blair White or nothing, but
that's, I can tell, a real knower of things. This one, I can tell this is somebody who's really tapped into the pulse on it's either me or Blair White. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, no, Blair White daughter or Dead Domain NB child. Uh, oh yeah, no. What would Ninja Jesus do? Dead Domain food shops apparently tried to address the allegations as quote pursuit of edginess. No, they did. Like here's the fucking thing, and this is the same thing that Hutch did, where they downplay this shit. It just suddenly it becomes it's just jokes, and you look at the history of them enabling this and playing off these jokes and saying these things where they will say something and then be like, yeah, I'm not even. Oh, like Hutch saying, yeah, I would vote for Jeffrey Epstein if he had a D next to his name. I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. And then doubling down, tripling down, and then there will be like, don't you lefties with all your purity politics, well, you can't understand a little humor. And it's like, okay, but here, when you say not as a joke, when you stop talking about it as a joke and you just keep talking about it, that's it. Nehemia, thank you for another $10. POCD isn't the same thing as child liking. It's OCD, where intrusive thoughts are what if I harm a child. As OCD, the thoughts are involuntary / unwanted, but I expect this person is abusing the term. Yeah. Just like from a very cursory glance and having known people who kind of move and operate like food shops, she seems like somebody who would diagnose herself as something. Fighting Hobbits, thank you for 25 bits. The true gender binary, Blair White or Dead Domain. Oh, that's hateful. That's hateful as hell. Magar, thank you for another 5. Ship Not, a Virgin Core cover band. Let's go. Hell, what? Virgin Core? Virgin Core?
I mean, shit. Anyways, going from that degenerate weirdo, let's go on to the food shop. So, what started all of this? Well, give me a goddamn half second here. I'm not going to cover this too long because God leftists suck, and no one wants to sit here talking about two unstable trans people and Hassan Piker. That is a recipe for disaster. Let me go right here. As then it doesn't want to work.
Great content here, y'all. Great stuff.
Does this every time. I hate StreamYard. You know, they upped.
Did he? Oh, okay. He did that. Okay, that was on his end.
Apologies for that. I had to do that because we pay more for this shit. So expecting better from StreamYard. Yeah, right. Let me show you what happened.
I forget what they're called. I think no, it wasn't Loanerbox. Loanerbox didn't work. Hutch didn't work. They tried to like promote Hutch a lot. They tried to promote Loanerbox a lot, and it didn't work. And I think the name was what? Food Shops. You left out details. She is an admitted pedophile. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's also that as well. Apparently, this person got outed as a pedophile. Yeah. So it didn't really work. It didn't really work. It didn't work at all. She self-admitted. Well, it turns out there are ops that I don't even know exist out there, but one thing is a guarantee: they are going to be sex criminals in some variety, some way, shape, or form. This is like the primary driving force behind almost all of my ops. There's if you exist for a long enough timeline and you're an op of mine, you end up getting into trouble in this way somehow. I don't know why, but in any case.
I will have to set the record straight on this. That yes,
The Sonic picture, there's something about this that is so 2003 MySpace coded. Like, this just put me in a fucking time shuttle. This is like some shit you would see like glittery ASCII art next to, and somebody playing a like Disturbed track on their MySpace page. This is crazy.
they kind of are a little sus, to say the least. As I will play something here, and then block Gato Fumador because Gato is a piece of shit as well, in that fucking loser's own right, because Gato is a middle-aged disgrace to God. But anyways, let me play this from the middle-aged disgrace to God, Gato, before I block him.
I'm only into the most feminine of the most feminine.
That's what I'm saying.
I need to have a little girl to wrap myself.
Okay, so that the feminine voice speaking is Food Shops. I didn't know about Gato.
Around.
Yep.
That was Food Shops.
Oh, like you're like big spoon is what you're saying. Oh, I get you.
I need to have like a 12-year-old.
What? That's so.
Vanilla base.
Yeah, that's a fucking insane. That honestly is probably the proper reaction if somebody says that in a stream, is just like, what? The fuck did you just say? Huh? Yeah, no, again, this is the person, that's Food Shops saying that shit. I'm not joking when I say pedo. I'm not exaggerating. That's Food Shops. Kakumi, can someone explain to me the Destiny and Hassan Piker thing? I follow an atheist named Hassan. I follow a guy named Destiny, modified Skept. Are these the same people? I don't believe modified Skept is that Destiny. And no, I think you are talking about a different Hassan, because I also follow that Hassan. God, and I can't remember his Hassan. Yeah, I can't remember his last name now. Or am I thinking of a different name? The one who does the the atheist thing. Yeah, Modified Skeptic is not in the same space as Destiny. So the beef between Hassan and Destiny is now that Destiny is I don't even know what the fuck. Destiny is just a transgressive troglodyte. Like, Destiny, its primary function now is to just whinge and seethe over Hassan. Yeah, no, the Sonic picture is a choice. Armored Skeptic. God damn, I haven't even heard that shit in a long time. Hemet Meta. Fuck. I knew it was an H name. Yes, Hemet Meta is the person who... Oh, okay. By the way, speaking of which, because Hemet Meta followed me after I did the last exposing, because I talked to Hemet about the Steven Anderson thing over a year ago. Somebody asked me last stream about the Man of God documentary. And I am not sure if I was duped. Because I was contacted by somebody, I talked about this months ago, who wanted, to get clean footage for a video on the hate church pastor who abused his kids. For those who don't know, about 2 years ago now, I helped a bunch of kids of Steven Anderson, who is a infamous hate preacher, come forward, talk about the abuse they suffered at the hands of their father. And what looks like the documentary, and one of two things is happening. Either the documentary is still being made and they are putting out, the actual church that the hate pastor belongs to is putting out counter propaganda with the exact same name. Or secondly, they willfully lied to me to get my footage, thinking it's like there was something crazy on it, which I can't imagine. Like, there wasn't. I know there wasn't. It was just the conversations I had with those kids. Or they willfully lied to me and are instead like doing a puff piece on that abusive pile of shit. So either way, fucking I can't believe somehow the NIFB has returned into my life. Nehemia, thank for another 5. 2013 edgy third grader wallpaper on a school computer core. 2013? Damn. 20 No, there's no way. It ain't that. No, that's older than 2013 K thing. Thank you very much for €2. Peak mouth breather. You can hear the rasp. You can hear it a little bit.
Shut up. So that is, of course, food shops saying that yes, they do believe in some sus shit. Now I don't know the context of that conversation, and the reason that and context does matter.
What do you what? Okay, yeah, context does matter. Sure. Okay.
Unlike, bad faith liars on that side, I do care for context, but from what it looks like is, yeah, they're weird. They've always kind of been sus and unstable. I mean, they're very mentally unstable and they have problems. Food shops has always been weird. The last I checked on food shops was a debate with Andrew Wilson where she like spurred the fuck out and went on an entire tirade. And I don't know why. It was very off-putting and creepy, but whatever. We're not going to go into that.
Oh, Meredith Navin, fucking based. Thank you very much for 5 Australian. I know the person who helped get Steven Anderson banned from Australia. Let's go. If I ever make it down to Australia, and I will buy them a drink. Proper Aussie drink.
I know they also had some unhinged thing with a VTuber. Something in Asari and Leaflet. Yeah, Leaflet and Asari. Yeah.
So this is riveting stuff, dude. Here's the thing. Usually I like hearing other people whinge and bitch about me, but not when you take this long to get to the fucking point, dog.
They had something to do with that.
Hey, Lucas Harris.
I just hate everyone involved in this situation. I fucking finally blocked that dead domain, disgusting piece of shit. If that freak ever watches any of my content, I want you to hear my words. I don't care what you call me. You can label me whatever, but I know I'm much better morally than you'll ever be because you're mentally fucked. You are so fucked from whatever you did to yourself. I don't know what it is that you should not.
The funny part about this is that I'm still waiting to hear any actual logistical or moral arguments outside of me being mentally ill or degenerate. Like, it's just purely reactionary to sit there and be like, oh, I'm just better than you by virtue of being better than you. It's like, what, dog, you keep saying the same thing. Tell me why. Why is your morality so much better than mine? Like, why are you, no matter what happens, you rest assured, like, give me, like, just a spoon.
Not be trusted around anyone. I think you should be on a list, genuinely, a terrorist watch list or something. I don't fucking know. I don't care. I don't care if PETA is watching you on a list. Put something to keep note of whatever the fuck's wrong with you. That fucker, man. Holy shit. Bad faith. Completely believes in killing anyone that disagrees with them.
Oh man, okay. Uh, that is not. I feel like that's very obviously not true. You can look at my like just any of my streams where I talk about reaching out to people and helping people reform and educating entire groups of people. Like, uh, but sure, dude. I think it is very funny. So one of the things that he comes back to, and I can only imagine that this is somebody who has watched Destiny, because he continues to come back to this bad faith idea. And I don't think he understands what that actually entails. For example, it is bad faith to look at something I said, I don't even know what he's referencing, and say, I want to kill anybody who disagrees with me over anything. That's bad faith. Saying that you are morally superior to me because I am mentally ill or whatever you want to say, that's bad faith. That's actually bad faith. Like that's what that is.
Absolutely is a sick fuck. I cannot. Oh my god, how is everyone involved in the situation a piece of shit? It's insane. Food Shops is a weirdo. That dead domain fucker is a bad faith creep who's a disgusting representative of the trans community. You guys are fucked. I feel for you. You're cooked. That community's cooked. 1% cooked. I feel for y'all. It's over for you. I mean,
something tells me. Yeah, famous DD line. I'll kill everybody who disagrees. Something tells me that the person who looked at me and said, whatever you did to yourself, whatever you've done to your body, whatever you've done to your brain, you're just mentally ill, you're a degenerate, you're all this stuff. Something tells me that you don't actually care about trans people, that you don't actually care about the community. I don't know. I don't know. No, we are not watching 2 hours of this shit. Magar, thank you for $5. Bro is so cool and confident, even his PNG avatar wears a mask. Nehemia, thank you for another 5. Consider our collective timbers a shivered. Yar. Hey, Gino, dear.
if those are your representatives, vote for no one. And then you got Hassan, who's just a misogynist piece of shit who likes to call fucking police check-ins on, women that don't text them back enough. Allegedly. Quote unquote, allegedly.
So, again, I can't help but notice that for Hassan, you're willing to call him out as a misogynist creep for whatever. I'm not sure what you're talking about. But for Food Shops, even though you admit for the Hassan thing it's just allegedly, which means there's no proof, concrete proof that we can go and back up. Yet Food Shops is on camera talking multiple times about being a pedophile in her words. That's not me reframing anything. In her words. And yet she's just weird. She's just sus. I feel like you went into this with a slight skew.
Really ever so quote unquote allegedly, because he admitted to doing it and said, I don't know why. Even though I was told not to do it, even though I knew the risks of doing it, I didn't care. I'm going to call the police. I don't know why I called the police, knowing that my...
Who is Food Shops? Desperate nobody, Destiny Orbiter, kind of.
Fucking ex or girlfriend or this woman I thought I cared about could possibly off herself. I'm going to call the cops for wellness checks regardless because, well, I don't know. That's what we're dealing with, huh?
Oh, wait, hold on.
That's where we're at now. I'm going to call the cops for this woman I thought I don't know why I called the police, knowing that my fucking ex or girlfriend or this woman I thought I cared about could possibly off herself. I'm going to call the cops for wellness checks regardless because, well, I don't know.
No, that's why you would, if you believe somebody would do that or is at risk of doing that, that's why you call there it is. Like that you call a what? That's why you call a wellness check. That's in fact one of the only reasons to call a wellness check. Okay.
That's what we're dealing with, huh? That's where we're at, right? That's where we're at. Okay. That's the freakish, disgusting shit we're dealing with. That's the left, by the way. Oh, man. I thought the Nick Fuentes right was pretty bad, but it's the same.
Oh, I get it. He's an enlightened centrist who doesn't actually believe in anything, but everybody else is stupid except for him. And he knows best about everything. And it's everybody else that's stupid for having convictions while he sits back and goes, yes, you fools. You believe in things. You're willing to put your money where your mouth is and live by morals, you ridiculous simpletons. How does that, yes, how does that compare to my strategy of calling you all freaks?
Shit to me. Creeps, freaks, and weirdos. All on the same side of just disgust. I have no fucking respect for anyone involved in that shit. You guys are all pathetic and disgusting, and you just...
So here's the other funny part, is that he blocked me after this. And he, as he's talked about, he just blocks other people. So I'm kind of feeling like if there's one person who can't accept pushback of their ideological worldview, one person who can't accept criticism, it's the person who will go on, whinge and rant, not give actual proof about what they're saying, why they feel that way, not actually explain it in a succinct manner, and then block anybody so that they don't find out, so that they won't respond. Like, I don't know. I'm just like constructive criticism.
Honestly, bring more self-harm to your communities. And I understand your fucking legion of cult followers will probably, some of them will come after me later for this. I don't really care. I've basically learned, I think it's basically pretty much known that I don't give a shit. And I just love ripping on you fuckers anyways. And I get to block half of you because I can't discuss things with degenerate freaks.
There it is. It is just because you are simply above it. I can't discuss things with them. No, this is the same shit. Like, this is the same reason why anytime a right-winger pussies out of an argument, anytime anybody says, well, no, you're just unreachable. It's like obviously not. Here I am. Are you gonna, like, obviously not. It kind of seems like you're the one who just wants to throw a stink bomb and run. Thank you very much, Nehemiah, for another 5. As a guy, I can say that this is the kind of stuff guys do / say when they get rejected. Did I say something to this man? I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so.
Guys are untenable garbage. You're garbage. You're literal filth. I mean, below filth, actually. So, yeah.
Whatever I said, I'm not sure what it was specifically. I saw something like... I have only heard him mention that I apparently think anybody who disagrees with me deserves to die. So, like, maybe he saw me make a joke about Charlie Kirk or something. But again, I feel, maybe ease up a little bit, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously, anyone that watches Dead Domain, please unsubscribe from my channel if you are. And if you aren't, don't come near me. You are mentally unstable and probably someone that shouldn't be trusted around society. Okay, we're done with that. So any of that crap, I'm done talking about. I feel icky already. Holy fuck. And believe me, food shops, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry to say this, but no, it wasn't a transphobic attack on you. It's because you're sus. And that's why you're
not... What, again, I feel like, again, really kind of laying bare some preconceived biases here is that food shops... admitted pedophile. He's like, well, she's sus. Me, leftist trans person, degenerate, lower than filth, whatever else he said. That was it. That was all you said about me?
Sorry. It's just the truth, food shops. You are kind of sus. Hassan's a piece of shit, sure. A Dead Domain is also a piece of goat shit. But they're still above you slightly. Okay, not slightly. They are above you. Okay, I can't be completely bad faith. Like, I'm not Dead Domain. I can't be that bad faith. They are above you only because they're not proven fucking freaks. You are. They're just shitty people in other ways.
It took you all the... How am I a shitty person?
On to something else we got to talk about.
Do we gotta?
Torturing.
Okay, well, I'm out. Look, there's one more. There's one. It is not over yet, chat. It's not over till I say it's over. Where was the other one? There we go. So here is the other thing. All right. Broden, 6 minutes of whinging, 15 views. I'm pretty sure I'm like 3 or 4 of those. I think he'll get to why I did respond, and we'll talk about that in a second. I didn't watch the full video because it was, from what I saw, like a minute of, it was the same shit. So this is him going through my feed. There was one thing I wanted to address already in the couple seconds of that, because talking about bad faith, this should be a good crash course in understanding when somebody is actually giving you constructive criticism versus just grasping at literally any straws they can, because they're doing the second one here.
I'm not doing a hit piece or anything because I barely care to do as much research as I should into this person.
So first part, before you cast judgment, maybe do a little bit more research. Before you say that I think anybody who disagrees with me should be killed, maybe do a little bit more research when I have dozens now, if not hundreds of hours of content of me speaking online, and I've been incredibly consistent in all of my points. So, I mean, just, you know. Obadiah Bumbly, thank you for $10. I agree with what Lil Bill said. Centrists either don't know how to say I don't know or are cowards. Yeah. Like, a lot of it comes down to the fact that people don't like being told they're wrong, or the idea that they might be wrong. Porque no los dos. Exactly.
I've only watched as much as I really can without having to gag and literally scream, "You fucking lying bad faith cunt," over 1,000 times. But if you watch this person's content, I've got to be real. You will scream, "You lying bad faith cunt," at least 4,000 times. I understand political content's really hard to come by for trans people. I get it. Because if you are remotely left wing, Blair White will be projected to you as Satan. It just is what it is. Granted, if you ever watched Blair White, you'd understand that she's actually not that bad, but whatever. I get it.
No, she's just a completely vapid, empty shell of plastic. Like she's a traitor to her community, essentially. Like that's why. And again, I understand that you probably not the best person to pick up on the trans community. You don't sound like you're super well versed in it. So the idea that you are willing, again, to give Blair White more credence than somebody who, I don't know, is actually involved in like trans activism and activism in general, as opposed to somebody who is a very clear profit motivated liar, who I've put out multiple videos on her being a fucking liar and how she's a liar. And I've like the Pride video I did last year, I walked through step by step. It's really quite unmissable. But again, you would know that if you did a little bit of research. It's okay. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Everybody starts somewhere.
You have to feed into retards' delusions, like this idiot, so it makes sense. Now, this is a Hassan orbiting dumb fuck, so understand, I already know this person's bad faith, delusional, deluded, thinks that anyone that disagrees with them should be fucking executed, and I've seen their account. They think people should die. I shit you not. This.
Do you want to show, like, but before you make that claim, do you want to show it as it's happening, maybe? I mean, if you're already on my account, you should have that pulled up. Again, if you want to call me bad faith and you want to make such wide sweeping aspersions, I feel like you should have a little bit more to back it up.
Person is off their meds. I don't know what meds they are missing, but they're so bad faith, it's actually crazy. I despise the left because it promotes bad faith people that think extremism will actually make their point versus actually having an actual point to fucking push. But unfortunately, we are here. It's okay.
What do you mean by that? Like, literally, how does that make sense? You use extremism to push your point versus having an actual point? Did you mean to say that they think extremism is the point? That literally, the sentence literally does not make sense.
I mean, and even then, I agree with the angel. You are a dumb cunt. And a lying one at that. But I've tried to watch their content, and before gagging and trying to eat my own excrement to choke myself to death before
That sounds like a YP, honestly. I'm going to press play. Miss is yelling at me, so I'm going to go give her some food really quick.
actually giving a fuck. Because that sounds a lot more delightful than having to stomach this person's bullshit for like over 10 minutes. I gotta say, it's insane to me how terrible this person is at faith. Bad faith is insane. It's insane.
So this is the one thing that, and you need to read the post a little bit, because this is me talking about, by the way, the children being, we're going to talk about this next. So this is actually a good springboard into that. We're going to talk about the ICE facilities. And what I say is any Democrats not calling for the entire dissolution of ICE and the apparatus that led to this is complicit in these crimes. You can't feign ignorance anymore. If you don't think this should happen now, it shouldn't be happening under a Democrat either. So that is me saying that the concentration camps that we are running in America that are paid for with taxpayer dollars need to be dissolved. The apparatus that led to it needs to be dissolved. There are other implicit points in there, such as the people who are currently raping, trafficking, and killing people in these facilities need to be brought up on charges. There needs to be accountability for this. The reason that we have this framework in place is because the Democrats have not only not done anything about it, but they've continued funding it in between conservative administrations. This is something, again, I've been pretty consistent about, but I want you to pay attention to how he frames that, because while calling me bad faith, he completely, you know what, I'm gonna be charitable. I'm gonna say he probably just misinterprets the argument I'm making, because he just doesn't understand what I'm saying.
Entire dissolution of ICE. Oh my god, are you fucking retarded? You want the entire dissolution of our borders?
See, that's not what ICE is or does. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement is a fairly recent thing. It has not been around since the beginning of America, let alone the beginning of borders or our border security. So this is one of those times where you can just tell how little somebody knows about something when they try and step into the arena. It's like, you're not built for this, dog. Are we just letting the slurs slide? I don't care. Like it says more about them than it does about me that they would rely on that word. Nikki, thank you for subscribing. Meredith Naven, thank you for 5. Bad joke in honor of your goatedness. Why are goats considered an advanced species? They're always living on the bleating edge. Very good. That's very good for me. That's very good for me. What? Yeah, ICE was created after 9/11. It's just like you want, like, looking at what I'm saying, and then again, in response to stories that we're going to talk about here, about children being detained in ICE facilities, about the thousands of people who are being held without any violent offenses, without any criminal charges, about the sickness, the outbreaks of violence, the people dying, the people unable to get medical care in what are literally concentration camps, has nothing to do with borders. And the fact that you think that ICE has anything to do with borders instead of the Border Patrol and DHS shows just how much you've bought into propaganda, or at least have been affected by it.
Oh no. Oh my god. You can't with these people. You have to look at them like they're retarded. Nux Taku, watch. I don't know, man. You seem just as fucking bad faith as Nux Taku, which is saying something. She's like Nux Taku, but more retarded. I shit you not. It's like watching Nux Taku. It's just bad faith after bad faith after bad faith after bad faith. They both started a podcast together called Faithless, because that's what it is. Bad faith.
And again, this is literally his only argument thus far has been, well, 2 arguments have been that I'm bad faith and I want everybody who disagrees with me to die. And he has shown through his own actions that he's just approaching literally everything in bad faith. Like, Again, the idea of equivocating me to an actual groomer, somebody who we saw on stream actually facilitated the grooming of minors. It's like, again, maybe do just like a smidge, just a skosh of research, just like a little sprinkling, a dabble, mayhaps.
Oh shit. And why Destiny thought that domain? Oh god. You know what the worst part is? Food Shops is literally a piece of shit, also a weirdo. But man, honestly, I kind of agree. This person's so bad faith, they just completely and absolutely misrepresent what people believe, how they believe it, and their demeanor.
I have literally no proof or no reason to believe that you've ever watched any of my stuff. You have given no inclination outside of saying, I watched as much as I could stomach before I had to eat my own shit or whatever. You, again, maybe a Freudian slip. Just, I think that says so much more about you than it does about me.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it
Look,
is, buddy.
again, once again, bad faith. The anti-woke who hang out with groomers are consistently revealed as actual groomers. This guy's not a PDF, you dumb bitch.
No. If you go back again, bad faith. Constantly revealed to be actual groomers. There's two other words there, because it's a spectrum of shitbaggery. It's like groomers, PDFs, and freaks. They can still fall into those other two categories. I'm not saying they are universally all of those things. I'm saying that they are the ones who are constantly whinging and constantly talking about how queer people and trans people are predators. Meanwhile, they run in packs. Again, it's very easy to actually parse the meaning of words when you read them all one by one.
Are consistently revealed as actual groomers. This guy's not a PDF, you dumb bitch. He just literally didn't do anything to stop it, which is still bad, but you're being bad faith again. You are literally being bad faith.
And again, I don't think you watched the video where he has been talking for years about lolicon and defending it, which again, in my book, the book of having actual morals and standards and not needing to fence sit for everything. Yeah, you are. If you advocate for and share and help expose your audience of unknowable young people to that degenerate shit, you are one. I'm sorry. You are. You know what? I'm not sorry. Fuck that. No. Fuck Nuxtaku. Fuck anybody who's still trying to run interference for this lolly bullshit.
You're being bad faith. It's terrible faith.
Okay.
It's insane. It's insane how you guys suck at watching videos that you literally get from that Nick Andros video that Nux was a PDF when no, he's not. He just is a piece of shit enabler. You can't even slander people the right way. I'm sorry. Slandering actually is what you're doing. You can't even like take a W. How do you people suck at taking W's? Oh my God.
I can tell he really has it down the way he's just kind of lackadaisically reading each tweet until he's really done his research on me.
And then here comes that motherfucker should die part. This person also thinks Chibi Reviews should die because of, I guess, the lolly shit, which, again, whatever, man. I don't know. You guys literally are on the same side of Vouch, so I don't really give a fuck what you think about anything.
Okay, again, bad faith, and then saying I'm on the same side of anything as Vosh. What, dude? Like, so I don't care about what you think about it. You are on the left like Vosh, so I don't care what you think about anything. It's like, do you understand how you said? No, he doesn't. But it's this perfectly smooth-brained worldview where anything that somebody else says gives him an excuse somehow to say, well, I'm not gonna engage with it because obviously you're bad faith. Obviously, like, come on, dude.
But yeah, this person's one of the most bad faith people I've ever watched in my entire.
Please,
Ill God.
I think I might be able to fucking that's adult content that got tagged on Blue Sky is fucking You know, a little, but that's fucking funny, dude. That they would like. You could have not. You could have done a little bit of research to not scroll past and show off my OnlyFans to your 200 followers. That's fucking crazy, dude.
My eyes are burning. So I just go through that really quickly. But yeah, this person's one of the most bad faith people I've ever seen in my entire life. I would edit this, but nah, that's reserved people I actually have some bit of joy in ripping on.
It's very funny. So what they're saying right here is, as they're talking about bad faith and me lying about whatever, here I am sharing Cinemarxism's very prescient point about the warehouse fire and how suspicious it was, and how people shouldn't be jumping to just go ahead and burn down ice warehouses all over the country, because it seems super like an op, and also the sale was already called off before it was burned down. So again, I'm bad faith, while also very intentionally and purposefully calling attention to how disinformation is spreading and attempting to stop it. Even though I want to kill everybody, and I'm bad faith, but okay. All right. Again. Tom Moogie, dude, thank you for following. Nehemia, thank you for another 5. Actually personified. This guy sounds like he developed chronic breathing problems after spending too much time in his dank, musty Gooner Cave. Oh, musty Gooner Cave sounds terrible. That's bad for me. Chadvids, thank you for subbing. And Michael Kamasa, thank you for following. Goats. King Ashant, thank you also for following.
Really hate this person because they make life a lot tougher for trans people because of the way they represent themselves and people around them. I have to imagine people have gotten so sick of trans people in the past few years with their activists running around like retards. Do I think it's fair? No, but fuck, man, it is what it is.
Do you want to show literally again, anything to support your point that I think everybody who disagrees with me should die? Because that's something I've heard you say multiple times, and I have yet to see any proof. Kind of seems like you're arguing in bad faith.
But yeah. And now we have Chi. It's part of the support system, right?
Yeah, because this is obvious. Like, what? Oh, so we don't. Fucking sorry. Now we don't like dark humor here.
So you basically want Chibi reviews to die.
I'm gonna go back to, because here's the other thing. I don't expend that much energy on Chi reviews or caring about if he's alive or not. This over here, this is the most effort or care I put in. We're two little tweets. It goes. I'm gonna reference the classic Mark Twain quote, which I probably won't get down verbatim. It's like, I've never wished death on somebody, but there are obituaries I've read with great amusement. Something like that is kind of where I'm at there. Like, would the world be better off without this person? Almost certainly. Pedophile enabling racist piece of shit. Do not care. But that is different than actually putting forward effort into caring about that. I don't care that much. Like, it is amazing how once it's somebody they probably agree with a little bit more, it suddenly becomes dangerous. It stops being a joke. It stops being something, oh, obviously this isn't real. Funny.
And now you want him to commit suicide? Oh, wow, you're really a great person.
I am. I try to be. But I'm sorry, a unrepentant, racist, trans misogynistic, pedophile enabling, and now we know groomer piece of shit like Chibi Reviews, would it really be that bad if he wasn't here? No. Sorry. I'm not going to fucking back down from saying that. I don't really care. Like this is this thing. There was something going on today where I didn't care to dig into it too much, but a girl apparently was suicide baiting and she was some kind of streamer. And when you looked at the background, it was literally wall-to-wall lolly porn on the walls. And people were like, people just were encouraging her suicide because she likes lolly. And people think that her life is worth these drawings. And it's like, I'm not saying go and put a hit out on her. But if there's one less pedophile in the world, you want me to cry about it? No. Like, if there was one less person, especially in a point of having this platform and trying to normalize this horseshit, and they're not there anymore, they aren't able, people like Nuxtaku aren't there to groom their communities into the most depraved, degenerate, lolicon, pedophilia, bestiality bullshit on the internet? And you want me to fucking cry a tear? No. I'm going to post the fucking crab meme and move on with my day. It doesn't mean that much to me. Rip, bozo. Pack watch, motherfucker. Have some fucking standards. God. Fighting Hobbit, thank you for 50 bits. The new ska band from Tennessee. Oh, you got me. You got me. The new ska band from Tennessee, Musty Gooner Cave, with their smash single, My Genshin Impact Body Pillow. They opened for Dropkick Murphys, I think. Dropkick Murphys would.
This person is a demon. I want you to.
That's why I'm calling other people fake demons. But, like, yeah, I'm not, sorry, I'm not going to fucking whinge. You're not going to catch me being like, oh no, I'm sorry, I wish I said it would be better if the world was without another pedophile. It's like, nah. That, as I say here, that's for fake demons. That's for people who want to act tough. But when boots get pushed to asses, they're suddenly like, oh, you know, actually we need to turn down the temperature of this. It's like, no. I want to turn that temperature up. I want to hear them sizzling down in hell, boy. The fuck are you talking about? I stand by what I said. I mean that shit. Because it's just impulsive. It's instinctual. To look at the misfortune of somebody who deserves it, who tangibly makes the world a worse place through their actions. It is instinctual for me to look at somebody getting their comeuppance and go, okay. That's how much I care. Go, yeah, that person probably deserves it. They've done some shit. That's just called being consistent, taking a stand. I don't know.
Understand this person is an embarrassment to trans people. And you know what? If you ever see my video, you disgusting subhuman piece of crap mutant, because I didn't know how much of what a disgusting piece of shit you were. I actually don't trust you around children, actually.
Bold stance, dude. Bold stance. For the guy, like, I don't even know what to call it anymore. Like, defending pedophiles and groomers? Getting mad at me for saying I don't care? It would be better if they weren't here? And then I'm, okay. All right, dude.
I think you're the type of person to try to convert children into your own weird way of thinking. Not that I'm not accusing you of sexual crimes or anything. I have no idea if that's what you're into or whatever. I pray not. But I think you're dangerous. You actually think people should die because you simply don't like them.
I'm going to say again. No, there's actually a difference between me saying I wouldn't care if this person died and I think somebody needs to go out and get them. Except for Nuxtaku. That is a groomer piece of shit that should watch his back. Yeah, maybe you should actually watch that Nick Andros video. Because it's incredibly clear that he didn't just stand by and do nothing. He didn't just, oh, well, I'm just going to, like, no. Come on, buddy. Open your eyes a little bit.
You understand how sick you sound, right? You're actually sick in the head. Dead Domain is no better than the people she talks shit about. And to be completely honest, I don't even like, the fact that I even have the respect to call you a she when you're really a fucking demon, you're an actual satanic made piece of subhuman filth, is actually insane to me. You know what? I'm doing what I should have done. Get this fucking freak off my timeline. What a disgusting piece of crap. Oh my god. How could you be so fucking nasty, bro? It's not my fault that you don't even know what gender you are, nigga. I'm doing a hit piece.
Literally last second with the do we gotta look at this dude? Something tells me that's not his word. Another case of dead domain bad faith. Gavin Newsom, who I don't like, passed multiple forms of. I love it. I love how you can go and get your talking points online from libs and repeat it. Oh no, YouTube is down. There was an image 3/4 of the way up. All right, let's go back up. Nope. Now YouTube is down for me. Fuck. Yeah, calls me a disgusting bad faith freak and then just like be slinging slurs. All right. Call me a degenerate godless demon. Like I don't imagine how much that means to me coming from you, buddy. Very little. Very little. All right. Now that we've all collectively laughed, I am going to go give Lady some water really quick, check in with Koa, and then we'll be back. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Because it's a rough one today. Did I see the Guardian article about Hillary Cass? Nor. Is she being exposed to the fucking hack fraud she is? Thanks, Guardian article. Says England review leader. Yeah. Great, dude. El Salve. Oh my God, thank you for 100. If you ever need a lefty's perspective on the ongoing culture wars of Australia and need to understand more of Aussie history, I'm your guy. I'm a history buff and son of an Australian politician and war veteran. Parenthetical, I won't tell you which politician for safety reasons. Understandable. Thank you so much. That sounds like something I would love to do at some point. That sounds like something I would like to do in talking about also like I had so the Floating Rocks essay is coming out. And one of my next projects is going to be a well, at some point. I haven't started inking it out, but I think it would be a cool ongoing series to do to look at like pieces of media and look at the actual history behind it. Because I just got done rereading the Jakarta Method. I just started rereading, just started reading for the first time the Fort Bragg Cartel, which like, holy shit. And one of the things I was thinking about as I was reading through the Jakarta Method is how much, first off, really good back to back, like those two tie together really well. But then additionally, sorry, I gotta give Lady water. She's whining really quick. I'll be right back. How you doing, baby? Oh, you look so cute. What? It doesn't go with yellow. One of these would go better with yellow. Red and yellow go together, and also it'd be so cute to have little guys as a part of my circus act. I cannot afford to hear you, my love. Yes, I'm gonna get guys as a part of my circus act. Two little friends. I love you. I love you. Yes, get off, Kevin. Get up. Go. Okay. If y'all could, Johnny Viral, if you are still in chat, if you could repost the Ko-Fi link so I could pin it really quick, I would appreciate. Thank you to everybody who's donated today. If you could, I would super duper appreciate it. If you could donate a little bit, we are slightly on the Ko-Fi chat. If you could donate a little bit, because thank you, Nehemia. There we go. Pin message. There we go. Because that goes directly into our account, and we had a slight overdraft incident a couple days ago. So you're still recovering. Thank you, Nehemia, for another 10. I will not be out donoed, but seriously, if you want info about Jewish or Eastern European politics/history, I can do that. Hopefully others can cover other areas of the planet too. I have no doubt. I don't doubt it. I want to also... so the video I was talking about is the real history behind certain media. So what I was thinking would actually be a really interesting one to do would be the history of the actual history behind Call of Duty Black Ops. Because I think being able to parse something that is such a kind of iconic story in games for a very specific generation, but an iconic game, an iconic aesthetic and story, and being able to relate that to how propaganda works and then also the actual like declassified stories behind that would be really... I think that would be interesting. I don't know if other people do, but that got me kind of thinking of like, oh, if that did well, that could become a really cool consistent series. Where like I am kind of... I'm not saying I'm entirely done with like deep dives on people. As far as, you know, the one I did on Destiny, Brianna Wu, Synthetic Man, Matt Walsh. But I'm done for a little bit because those are very exhausting. But I want like a consistent format that I can do the kind of deep dive content I like. So I think that would be really cool. And that got me thinking of like, okay, well, like even if I didn't want to take it in a specifically geopolitical or U.S. Foreign interest direction with that, and explaining how like soft power works and, you know, School of the Americas shit and anti-communist interventions across Southeast Asia and South America. Like, even if I didn't want to talk about that, having that base formula of here is a piece of media, here is how we discuss the real history that inspired it, I think is really great. And it got me thinking of like other directions you could take that would be like, okay, Metal Gear Solid, you know, the whole Call of Duty series. One that I was like, oh, that would be fucking sick. The Mafia games, like the actual history of the Mafia, would be so rad. So I'm mulling that over. That's in its early stages. But next up, my next big video is going to be on AI and the dehumanization that we're all going through because of it. And then also, I have a bunch of videos. I have a movie I'm seeing on Thursday. I have a new Christian movie that's coming to theaters on Thursday. So this should be hopefully a review out on Friday. And then the Pendragon cycle from Daily Wire is wrapping up soon. I'll have a video out on that. I'm starting Yellowstone as soon as I get paid so I can afford okay. Paramount owns Yellowstone, but they do not have the streaming rights to Yellowstone. That's on motherfucking Peacock. What? Like, you have to do 2 motherfucking streaming services to watch all the Yellowstone. Ugh. Metal Gear Solid doc would go hard. Well, and that would be different than... because I would do it like game by game. And that would be different than because I still do have designs on a little bit further. I think in the summer I'll start finishing working on the video essay on Hideo Kojima's mommy issues. Jet Set Red 13, thank you for following. That's a cool name. Social media misleads young on gender transitioning, says England Review leader Hillary Cass, who led really burying the lead that her work was widely derided. Unrealistic images and expectations. led the review into youth gender identity, as said young people are being misinformed. Please tell me she brings up her ever consistent obsession with trans pornography. What transition would really mean and how hard it would be, including, quote, quite intensive medical treatments and, quote, sometimes quite brutal surgeries. It's like, that's not, first off, that's not part and parcel. That's like not necessary to be trans or to transition, by the way. I feel like most people know that. I feel like most trans people are aware of that. And these are also things that the community does for all the flaws. And there are myriad flaws with how, particularly trans women interact with each other online. There are definitely things that as a community we need to work on, but educating each other is not one of those things. Like it's a lot of the knowledge is shared around pretty widely about the effects of hormones, what they do, how they work, like what the actual realistic expectations of things are. I can't go a week being in trans circles. I can't go a week without seeing somebody say, oh, if you actually want to get a body like this, you need to be doing these exercises. You need to be eating this. You need to be running this. Like you need to be doing these things because just medicalization won't actually give you the entire body you want, or it won't just, you can't have medicine do all the work, like that kind of shit. Why is it always the TERFs and anti-trans people that look the brickiest? More and more people are saying this. Did somebody say brick? Why are you doing that? Lady, love you. I have to hard push back against that. We shouldn't have to change how we act online to pretend to be perfect all the time. I'm not saying that. No. I'm not saying that we have to like censor the way we act online. Like that's not what I'm saying. I am saying that we do need to be vigilant about policing bad actors. And I'm saying that there are subcultures, particularly in trans femme communities, that are just like legitimately harmful. Like there are drug cultures embedded that people really don't acknowledge. And also, like, there is and this isn't something that is like one-to-one, but there are aspects of grooming that come with, like, there are, and I know this because I have documented it, I have covered it for things that, videos that have not come out yet, and videos that I am still studying on, but there are predators in the trans community. There are predators in sex work spaces. It is not, I want to be clear, I'm not saying it's because they're trans, I'm saying it's because they're predators. And I think a lot of people can be lulled into a false sense of complacency because they think, oh, this person is trans. Oh, this person is on my side. Oh, this person understands what I've gone through. And that can and has and continues to lead to a lot of bad shit. And yeah, QETP, predators in most, if not all communities. Exactly. And that's more what I'm talking about, is that like there are conversations that need to be had inside of a community about how we need to police bad actors and how we need to protect the most vulnerable. And there are a lot of harmful behaviors that get like romanticized in a really gross way sometimes. But that's a separate conversation. But I'm not saying that we need to like censor ourselves to be more, I'm not saying this is not like going to turn into a kink at pride thing where we need to censor ourselves for the pleasantries of cis people. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. Elleris, does anyone actually think like that? I'm not dumb enough to trust another trans person just because they're trans. I know they're more likely not be transphobic, but that's not even 100%. Yes, people do think like that. I can kind of, and I hate doing this because the video still has a little ways to go. But for the last 6 months, I have kind of been working on in the background a documentary, and I've talked about it here and there, a documentary about abusers and predators and exploiters, particularly in trans sex worker spaces. And I can tell you that, yes, in a demographic that is predisposed to dealing with unmedicated mental illness, and again, this is not because that trans people overlap with mental illness, it is because trans people are far more likely to go through such worse socioeconomic conditions and be ignored by so many safety nets that they have to then turn to their own community. But even within those communities, there are people who will try and take advantage of them. Like that's what it is. Is it coming out this year? Yes, it is. It will be coming out this year. It is. I put some distance between it and Destiny for a while because while I have all the footage I think I need, and I have all the permissions I think I need, and it is the piece I have never done so many interviews for a piece, so much research for a piece. Which if you've seen a lot of my more intensive documentary work, that should say something. It's rough. It's a rough fucking video, and I'm trying to figure out how best to kind of deliver it, because it is a like, it's a harsh subject matter that I don't even know how YouTube is going to react to it, honestly. Just because it is so, the way I want to do it is heavy. And not to say like heavy-handedly, but like I don't want to shy away from the just fucked up realities of these girls' stories. The closest thing I think it would be to in terms of content and tone will be the video essay on white nationalists. The documentary I did on white nationalists who left the movement, because it is like, it's rough. It's fucking rough. And it's rough to, again, like when people ask, you know, how many people are affected by this? Like, there are multiple stories where multiple girls would be like, oh yeah, I was in this abusive polycule relationship where they were like, in so many words, trafficking me that I didn't realize until after. And then somebody else offered me a place to stay, and then they assaulted me. And like there are so many stories that are just out of sight, out of mind. And because there are so many like people who need that help, there are so many people who turn to the worst places to get it. And it's fucking heartbreaking. And it's a really hard video to actually work on because of, oh, do you want to show off how cute you look? No. Are you sure? You look like a little cutie patootie. Give me a little smooch. I love you. I'll text you when I'm heading over. Okay. Bye. Oh yeah, and Hitman Rula, FD Sigma always goes through the ringer with YouTube because he constantly, I know how it is. Like, I know how it is. It absolutely can be done. The thing is that queer content, and particularly queer sex work content, is some of the most in danger of being demonetized I've ever seen. My video, so for example, my video talking about D&D being gay was got reduced ads. There is no talking about explicit sex in there. Like, none. There is talking about people's sexual orientation, and that is enough to get it limited ads. The same thing, similar thing happened, my Brianna Wu documentary, which opens with a clip of the classic documentary Paris is Burning, to go into an example of how talking about Venus Extravaganza. If you don't know the story of that, go look it up. And going from that into Brianna Wu's dog shit opinions on trans sex workers. And that part was singled out by their, like, moderation team as talking about sex work. So that got limited ads, limited revenue on the Brianna Wood video because of the like 20 seconds at the beginning. Like and here's the thing. I have shown and talked about in incredibly concise educational terms. I have talked about some shit. I've talked about some stuff that I am shocked a video will still get full monetization. The anti-Semitism video where I show Holocaust footage. I was shocked that got, which, you know, that is in an educational context, right? And so I was like, okay, educational. The stuff that people described in the video on former white supremacists, shocked that made it through. The stuff that I've talked about when I've talked about Gaza and Palestine, shocked that made it through. And to then see, like, it is so, I don't know why, but it is so much easier to lose funding, to lose ad revenue when talking about things that people are still going through. Talking about queer issues and trans issues. Before, like, and I've talked about, again, on streams and stuff, I've talked about some horrid shit. We talked about Emmett Till the other day. And those streams still got monetized. It's crazy. Public service might lose some income, but are they limiting access to? So the problem with limiting ads is that I believe it's not quite clear because Google. The problem with limiting ads is I believe it does limit reach as well. And yeah, it sucks. Erebus, thank you for $2. It's sad how they get taken advantage of. Yeah, and that's why I want to give that video its due diligence. It is there are also some situations there that I am waiting to kind of shake out as far as litigation and stuff go, because there was one, and I can't talk about it right now, but there was one story that became very much this person said this, but this person said this, but nobody actually had like legal standing to back it up. So I wasn't able to tell I can't present these things as facts. It would be irresponsible for me to present both sides as factual because one person clearly had to have been lying. And so, yeah, anyway. Nahambi, thank you very much for 5. Also, if you want to do anything in Minneapolis, I'm not the best person to talk to, but I could put you in touch with more engaged community members. I am currently, right now I am focused entirely on getting all of my debt paid off and being able to, right now it's paying off debt and also paying off and paying down my, taxes for this year, because I've talked about this before. If you don't know, taxes don't get taken out of YouTube and Amazon. But I reached out to the Freedom Flotilla that will be going to Cuba to break the blockade in the next month or so. And I don't know what the exact, like, runaround will be on that. But I basically let them know, hey, I'm a leftist streamer. I'm a documentarian. I sent them my video I did on doing a documentary on the protest down in LA, the anti-ICE protests. I would love to join the flotilla to document everything, maybe stream it, make a documentary and just show this experience. So hoping to hear back from that. That would be a very cool project to be able to help out with in any way. Figaro, thank you very much. Free Brazilian money. Thank you. Mira Xshard, thank you for $5. Hell, I'm a straight cis guy who owes most of what I have to a gay aunt. Her care for me has caused me maybe wrongly to see queer people as innately safe. I mean, it's... I don't think it's wrong to want to see people as safe. I think it is maybe more naive to just assume people are safe, I think, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's finish reading this and then get to the ice shits. Because we still got a while to go. There are a tiny number of people who never be comfortable with their biological sex with the gender associated. For them, a medical pathway is the only way they're going to live their life comfortably. Okay, so let us, bitch. All right, sorry, give me 1 second. Leave Miss alone. You're being so mean to your sister. Oh my goodness. All right, give me a second. Being so mean to your sister. So mean to your sister. Oh my goodness, 10 minimum ready. Thank you for $20. My sister and I are both big fans. Hard work is appreciated. Oh, Chingalamigra. Hashtag Chingalamigra. Thank you very much. Holy shit. Thank you. I appreciate that. What the fuck just happened with my hair? Where did that strand of hair come from? That's crazy. Okay. Weird. Okay. Hassan mentioned he's going to be on the Flotilla. Motherfucker always stealing my Of course he is. Yeah, honestly, if I wouldn't be surprised if the because I reached out to the organizers of it, I wouldn't be surprised then if the response I get is like, "No, we're good. We got Hassan." But whatever. I threw it out there. If they want me to come along, I will gladly be there. That's a wild way for Hassan to get his Cuba holiday on. I mostly think it would just be fucking funny to watch Destiny melt down about that. Because Destiny has a big fucking chip on his shoulder on Cuba. Cass says she believed number of children of gender dysphoria is increasing, of course, because it's a social contagion. Kind of misled children is belief that if you are not a typical girl, nope, nobody believes this. Nobody believes this. Nobody believes this. Like this is such unbelievable horseshit to me that people think there has been this entire dissolving of ideas around like being a tomboy, being an effeminate man. Like you can still be like you can still live as a queer effeminate man. You can just live as a gay man. You can. You can do the same with tomboys. Like whether you like it this idea that it frustrates me to no end. It's almost like the fascism argument where at the same time your enemy has to be overwhelmingly strong and conniving and also incredibly weak and you can crush them underfoot. Where they need to have this argument that trans people are trying to completely dissolve gender and remove all boundaries and like let people be whatever they want. But at the same time, they only want, if you think this, you have to be this. If you believe this, you have to be this. And it's like, that's not fucking true, dog. Oh yeah, how come you didn't tell me Andy Vance actually admitted to being a grifter in his last video? That shit was so hilarious. It slipped my mind. I was running on a lot of caffeine at that point. That was a long video. That was a long stream for me. Sorry. Ugh. Are boys who like dressing up or that you have same-sex attraction, that means you're trans, and actually it's not like that, but those are all normal variations. Yeah, nobody fucking believes that. What? God, I fucking hate The Guardian. Giving this credulity, treating this as though it is worth conversing about in any way is such a draft guidelines on gender identity for schools published by the Department of Education. Good job of explaining that you have to be particularly careful about prepubescent young children. I fucking bet. Proposed guidance, which is informed by the cast review and subject to a 10-week consultation, states schools should avoid rigid rules based on gender stereotypes. Yes. Should take time to understand children's feelings. Also removes the outright ban on primary school age children socially transitioning, though suggests this should be very rare. What a fucking nothing burger. So she's still a wretched bitch. All right, chat. we have to get to some really heartbreaking shit. We've had a little bit of fun laughing at dickheads in the chat. But ICE continues a campaign of wanton, rampant, unaccountable violence across the country. People in Minneapolis, by the way, just because people have stopped streaming at the protest does not mean that they are gone. There has been a very effective propaganda movement from Tom Homan and everybody to say, oh, yeah, no, we're pulling up. Like, no, they're still fucking there. They're still terrorizing people. They're still terrorizing people there, terrorizing them down in the South, terrorizing them in Chicago and LA, across the fucking country, unaccountably. And so I'm going to read this account to understand the psychology a little bit of what we're dealing with, how unaccountable they are, and how far they want to take that. Oh, and yes, everybody say hi to TTB on Gaming. No, we haven't talked about Brianna Wu yet. This video is deeply disturbing, especially if you're a woman. In Rochester, Minnesota, masked ICE agents ran a U.S. citizen's plates, pulled her personal information, then drove to her parents' house to intimidate her. A legal observer was in her car, observing ICE agents. As they left, she then drove behind them, and instead of continuing on their way, they deliberately drove 4 towns over to the address tied to her registration, her parents' house. They stopped in front of the house, got out, and walked up to her window. Quote, we just wanted to make sure you got home safe, Olivia. She tells them, this is my parents' house. This isn't where I live. The agent responds, if this is not where your vehicle is, you might want to go look that up with the state. Translation, we pulled your data. We're comfortable using it and showing up at a residence connected to you. Quote, we know that you're trying to get a child molester, right? His plate came back as murder. She immediately pushes back and says she knows they're lying because they stopped a woman in the parking lot. They respond, his wife then? So now the story shifts. First, it's a male child molester whose plate came back as murder. Then it's his wife. If their alleged target was a man stopping and questioning a random woman without individualized probable cause is a constitutional problem. Law enforcement cannot detain or interrogate someone because they might be related to someone they claim to be investigating. When federal agents decide that filming them is grounds to run your plates, pull your personal information, and physically show up to a residence tied to you, that's a serious shift in how power is being used. Access to government databases come with strict limits for a reason. Those systems exist for legitimate investigations, not to send U.S. citizens a message.
Okay?
Oh, no, she doesn't care.
So this is the legal observer.
She doesn't care. She doesn't care. They never do.
How does it feel to be a race trader?
You know, we were trying to get a child molester, right?
No, you weren't.
Yes, we
Fucking wild to hear a Latin sounding accent. Just off the blue.
were.
How would you know?
Because it was a woman you talked
No.
to.
His wife.
And then his plate came back
misintelligent.
as
Also,
murder.
I just want to say, calling someone a
But-
race trader,
But you guys don't care.
I hope you realize that is the most racist thing you can say as a
It's
white
incredible.
woman.
Of course,
And
it
just
is.
so you know, this is
They're like fucking 12, dude. Listen to their fucking voices. Look at these skinny ass hands. Haven't done a hard day's labor. What are those gloves for? Get some fucking calluses on those hands.
not a good look for you.
Oh, it's not a
You
good look.
think I care about my look?
No, oh no, trust me.
When you guys
It
are-
is evident by how you look, you don't care. We get that. Trust.
We get that, trust me. None of these motherfuckers deserve. Like, again, when people talk about, like that one dipshit we just looked at who's saying, I want the border dissolved because I want ICE to be dissolved. How can you literally defend this kind of behavior? Open stalking. And by the way, I want to talk about, I don't want to ruminate on this too long because we have a lot of other stuff to talk about on this tangent. But this stuff will happen more. A lot more. If it is not already happening. Here's this one. This came out a couple days ago that DHS is collecting big tech users' personal data, issuing subpoenas for ICE-related criticism. So what that means is on Facebook, Meta, Google, all of these places, and who knows how much they're working with Palantir or Doge or whatever the fuck anymore. They are putting together profiles and they are tracking people based on social media criticism. So if you spoke out against the extrajudicial murder of Alex Preddy, of Renee Nicole Good, of the teacher who was just fucking killed. And I need people to understand again, all of these things are tied together. This is not functionally that different from the crackdown on anti-Israel or anti-Zionist speech. And what I mean when I say that is that they will functionally use that in the broadest way possible. The same way that they call anybody who speaks out against Trump unpatriotic, un-American. It doesn't matter if it's actually true. If they can assert the label and then back it up using whatever rhetoric they've created, they can justify from that angle whatever they feel is appropriate. So we're going to talk about that. Quote, the Times reported names, email addresses, telephone numbers, and other identifying data behind social media accounts that track or criticize ICE have been requested as part of, quote, hundreds of administrative subpoenas issued by the federal agency in recent months based on information provided by 4 government officials and tech employees. Some Americans' ire towards the federal agency and its immigration enforcement has hit a boiling point in recent weeks following the killings of 2 Minneapolis residents. Local and national protests have led to some government officials like Borders Czar Tom Homan pledging the recall of some 700 agents. Big tech involvement. The New York Times article reported on February 14th that Google, Meta, and Reddit complied with some subpoena requests in which said companies were asked, quote, identifying details of accounts that do not have a real person's name attached and that have criticized ICE or pointed to the locations of ICE agents. So that is additionally something to keep track of, to acknowledge that you are not nearly as safe as you think you are. If you are talking from behind an avatar or something. Yeah, Nehemiah, thank you very much for $5. Actually, that's super racist. You can't say that. So true. Erebus, thank you for $2. Am I gay for life, trans women? Your opinion? I don't know what you mean by that. No, I think people's sexuality changes like across their lifetime. I think it is ridiculous. The amount of repression over time, and I'm not going to get on a big tangent about this, the amount of repression that has led people to deny the fact that, yeah, their interests, the things they like, the things they're into change over time. I can't imagine how many lives and the potential for people it's ruined. Adam, thank you for 4 months. The Australian government is sending biometric data to ICE. Yeah, you should assume every government is. You should assume that every government is working with Israel or Palantir or some fuck-ass corporation to get all your biometric data and use it to support algorithms and train AI and all this other shit. Like, that is the world that we are living in, functionally. Tech companies do not have to provide information. The Times reported that some of them notified people in the government's interest and provided them 10 to 14 days to fight the subpoena in court. Good. Data as recent as January 2026 claims that Google holds roughly 83.4 to 88% of the search engine market share, equating to more than 16 billion daily searches. So your data is being used. Your data will be used to track you. Your data will be used to find out your free speech, how you feel about something, and people want to know, what is that going to be used for? Well, and of course, while we're on the subject of how unaccountable they're, I don't want to watch the video of. So if you don't know, a couple days ago, ICE has been lying about a ton of shit, if you can believe it, from the apes that they dress up in fucking cosplay tack gear and give loaded guns to. Government claims she ran Border Patrol agents with her vehicle before an ICE agent shot her 5 times. New body cam video shows the agent turned his steering wheel towards Miramar Martinez and that he was congratulated, quote, for excellent service after shooting her.
Cameras on. This is newly released body camera video. A team of 3 Border Patrol agents is driving through a Southside Chicago neighborhood. 2 have guns drawn. Marimar Martinez, an American citizen and school teacher, is driving next to them, honking her horn, warning people to the presence of federal immigration enforcement. Another vehicle is behind the agents, also honking the horn.
All right, it's time to get aggressive and get the out, because they're trying to box us in.
It all
They're trying
happens
to
in
box us
seconds.
All right, we're following now. All right, out of the car.
Be advised, we've been struck, we've been struck.
Get out.
Martinez was shot 5 times and survived. In this surveillance video, you can see the front of the agent's SUV come to a stop. 4 seconds later, Martinez's silver Nissan drives off, she says, fearing for her life. The Department of Homeland Security was quick to accuse her of attacking federal law enforcement, saying Border Patrol agents were, quote, ambushed by domestic terrorists that rammed federal agents with their vehicles. FBI Director Kash Patel posted.
So one of the things I've been reading in the Fort Bragg cartel, and one of the things that I keep thinking about, and I do not think that there are almost certainly a lot of former service members. I do not think there are anybody who reached the echelons of Green Berets or Delta Force or SEAL Team 6. Or if there are, they're probably few and far between. I would love to be proven wrong on that. But you get this kind of bloodlust in these unaccountable operations. And you should go and read. It's harrowing shit, but you should read the Fort Bragg cartel because it really illuminates the undercurrent of nihilistic, wanton, empty violence that so many service members are essentially indoctrinated into. They go through these phases of starting off with amphetamines, being prescribed medicinal amphetamines, things like dextroamphetamine, which is, I take dextroamphetamine for ADHD. And from there it escalates until these people are walking stew of various drugs, just a cocktail of imbalanced psychosis. And these are the people that we train as killers, give guns. These are the people that you hear about 10, 15, 20 years after we've left a country, talking about how, oh yeah, no, they murdered 50 children in a village and nobody ever found the bodies and all the heads were missing and they took toes as trophies and fucking raped all the children. Like, they take people who, whether these service members who are indoctrinated, inculcated into these units are of good heart, whether they genuinely think, whether they've been propagandized to or whatever, that they are going in and doing something good. They take them and they strip that away. That is the essence. That is what these ICE agents want. They want so badly to be these unaccountable military tax sim badasses. The tier 1 operators and the badass warriors that our dipshit SecDef Pete Hegseth keeps talking about. I don't doubt it. Yeah. Elena McLaughlin says she was given fent lollipops while on the front lines. I don't remember what unit or what actual... Like, I know Elena was in some kind of special forces. And we have this idea of special forces and special tier 1 operators and shit. That, again, one of these things, actually learning the history of these units, how they were formed, what major geopolitical upheavals they had a part in, and particularly how, is what is leading me to want to do these kind of like, oh, because I remember I learned about a lot of this shit playing Call of Duty coming up. And coming to understand how all of that stuff is lied to and how people passively understand these things as being cool when it's fucking not. It's rough. It's rough. No. Poco Curante, I have schizoaffective disorder. I don't like it when people assume psychotic equals violent. I don't mean to reinforce that stereotype. What I mean to say is that people legitimately, literally, are developing psychosis. Like, they are developing states of constant paranoia and delusions and even hallucinations because of the stress and this pressure cooker that the United States government puts these special operators through. And to see that kind of shit and the way it's valorized, the wholesale destruction of a person down to their core. And it is valorized by people like fucking Pete Hegseth. And then that idea of these big Billy badasses is sold to people who join up in ICE. It's unconscionable. Like the ruination of somebody at a just like a level of their id. It's horrendous. But that is the project. Like, that is the kind of people, the people who can see, well, and they don't know I guess the true horror of it all, but the people who see these operators and want to be them, that's the headspace you need to understand that these ICE assholes are in. The headspace where they will shoot an innocent woman 5 times and then go and fucking fist bump each other and say, "Oh, hell yeah, good job, brother."
Said on social media about the incident, quote, "Attack our law enforcement and this FBI will find you and bring you to justice." The post also included a link to video of a car ramming, but it had no connection to Martinez's case. And the body camera video tells a different story. In the lead up to the collision, you hear...
Oh, they do, yeah. Poco Currente. So I believe this is one of the videos, but there have been so many times these text chats will come out because all of these dipshits run in group chats like teenagers, and they will shoot civilians and text each other like, "Oh, I put 4 shots in her, bro. Oh, yeah, drinks on me when we get..." Like, they are LARPing their idea of a war. That's what ICE is right now. ICE isn't just the Gestapo. ICE is the American military-industrial complex coalescing into an occupying force. That's it. And they treat civilians, they are being encouraged from the top down to treat you and everybody else as enemy combatants. Do I think these guys were high? Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody, finds out later that the person who shot Alex Preddy was on speed or something. But again, I think these guys, they want to act like operators. They want to walk the walk and talk the talk that they've seen and been sold by media and propaganda and stuff for the last 25 years. But they don't actually want to go to war. They want to shoot at targets that won't shoot back. Right? And I do not think that we have reached the point, at least yet, where people are talking about, like, I do not think that people are yet at this point where they're doing fucking speedballs and shit to stay up all night before, going in and stabbing dissidents in the throat. Like, again, Fort Bragg Cartel, cannot recommend it enough. Harrowing shit. If you can cop a copy, absolutely should. Karenel, thank you very much for 5 months. And Nudinator, thank you for following as well. And Hemi, thank you for another 5. Sounds like you asked ChatGPT how to sound manly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Agents say they are going to collide with Martinez.
We're going to make contact and we're boxed in.
And just before the moment of impact, it's Agent Charles Exum who sharply turns his...
So this is the most insane part. They had the body camera on. What you are seeing here, this window, is through the trigger guard. They put their body camera on, blocked the body camera with the gun, except for the most pivotal moment where you can see it through the trigger guard. Like, it's beautiful if it wasn't so fucking evil. I just saw, there's not, chat, there's not nude streaming on Twitter, is there? Because one of my friends, King Vix, is doing Titty Tuesday, but I'm like 18 plus. I didn't know. Can you do that on Twitch?
His steering
That's
wheel
crazy.
in the direction of Martinez. Proof, according to her attorney, that they hit her vehicle, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's how that works.
And as for the claim of being boxed in, this surveillance video calls that comment into question, with nothing in the path ahead of the border agent's vehicle. The court also released text messages and emails from after the shooting, including one message from Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino, just hours after the incident, offering to delay the retirement of Agent Exum, who shot Martinez. In light of your excellent service in Chicago, you have much left to do.
See, and that's the shit. That's the shit. They are treating these unaccountable goons as though they are valuable officers, giving them pats on the back, extensions of service, incentives. That's what that is. That is a tacit endorsement of unaccountable violence against a civilian populace.
And then a text message exchange
Posse
between
chat.
Agent Exum and someone whose name was redacted. Are they supportive? Someone asked. Big time. Everyone has been, including Chief Bovino, Chief Banks, Secretary Nome, and El Jefe himself. In various texts to and from fellow agents, the mood was celebratory. Good job, brother. You are a legend among agents. You better effing know that. Beers on
me. Again, it is this valorless... Not that America has had any valorous war since World War II. And even then, like... I don't want to go into that. That'll be a whole thing. But it is this pursuit of valor through only the faintest recognition of what it looks like. The ideas that are trained and ingrained in us through media, passively, that shooting people and taking down hostiles is a simple thing. But you know what's the most fucked up part, honestly? Learning about the myriad narco states that we have propped up, learning about the ruthless dictatorships and all the special operators all over the world for the last 50 years. Every time you hear one of these people talk on the record, honestly, on the record, they're fucked up. Like, fucked up. One of the reasons that so many special forces people go down long, hard spirals of constantly escalating drugs, alcohol, and other substances is because of the guilt they feel. You cannot repress the natural human instinct of remorse over murder. I'm not saying there aren't people who are genuine sociopaths who do not feel that. There absolutely are. But you cannot take so many people who go into these lines of services, whether they've been propagandized to, whether they truly believe it, that they are God's soldier and they want to go out and help protect their community, and give them a gun and have them shoot people without it affecting them at a level of understanding what they're actually there for. I guarantee you right now, there are people in ICE who hate what they're doing, who hate what they've become. Not just because of the shit that they've seen on social media, but because of the stuff that they've been forced to do, that they never thought it would be this way, that they thought they had a much cooler action movie idea in their head. But at the end of the day, the excuse of just following orders cannot be allowed to stand. Well, was it I think it was Jakarta Method where they were no, it was Jakarta Method I was listening to where no, it might have been goddamn. Reading these two books back to back has been so weird because so much of it talks about US intervention in like the Cold War, and that's where a lot of like special forces operations came from, leading to all the shit that happened at Fort Bragg. And so like I'm getting a lot of stuff and stories because they're also both from multiple perspectives. But there was one story of somebody in, I believe, Cambodia, who, I think this was Jakarta Method, in Cambodia, who would overhear and listen to when special operatives, Delta Force and stuff, or Green Berets, were on shore leave or on break from the shit they were doing in Vietnam. And like these you know, operators, people who were teenagers sometimes in their 20s, would just fucking get shit ass wasted and talk about the war crimes they had just done. Because you have a bunch of 20-somethings, early 20s, children, going out and firebombing entire civilian villages. And no idea how to cope with that. It's fucking, it's heinous. Nehemia, thank you for another 5. These guys got their concept of masculinity from some aging magazine they saw in a clinic while waiting for their ED appointment. It's like, unfortunately, it's these ideas of like masculinity. These are the things that are being reinforced negatively. It's horrendous. I mean, yeah, transfoxual. Nazis have the... Again, hey, stop it. No, stop, use. Like so many of the things that we see now, Nazis went through. The massive amounts of substance abuse Nazis had. Like, people expressing disbelief and genuine remorse and having PTSD and trauma for working at the death camps, Nazis had it. But guess what? They still kept following their fucking orders. Whether or not they had regret, whether or not they didn't want to do it, they still made up the fabric of a horrendous genocidal machine. And every single one of them needed to be held accountable, just like now. This is talking about some of the other lies. So this is when a USMC vet, because this country doesn't actually care about its veterans, these mass thugs should be sued for this vile, illegal behavior. We're ending the impunity with my legislation to authorize people to sue ICE and other federal agents for egregious actions like this. I need more than just suing ICE. I need more than just fucking suing ICE.
You fucking move, I'll fucking taser. Get the fuck out of the car right now. Get the fuck out of the car, please.
This is Sky, a Marine Corps veteran and U.S. citizen, along with another U.S. citizen being taken by ICE simply for filming and observing them.
Now, I want you to notice of the things that we've already talked about so far. There are a couple undercurrents here. One, all of these people are legal observers to one degree or another, who have been harassed, assaulted, and attempted to be murdered by ICE. The other thing you need to know is that all of these people, while legally observing, are also very likely able to have, whether through their license plate, whether through any other identifying factors, tracked by ICE, down to, as we just saw in another video, their parents, their associates, their addresses. These things are going to be weaponized. And people are not waking up enough to the fact that it is no longer enough to just be passive, to just stand idly by.
Got into the John is looking at is a black.
Get out of the fucking, get out of the car. Put the car in park, get out of the car. Put the car in park, get out of the car.
You know I'm a Marine Corps veteran.
I don't care, what you want? Get the fuck out of the car right now! Get the fuck out of the car, please!
Notice the conflicting orders. Don't move or I'm gonna tase you, followed immediately by get out of the car. Just like Renee Good's murder, and this is important, they yell these contradictory orders to create the pretext for the violence they have already decided to commit.
Fucking bitch.
There is no reality where these men actually believe these small women pose a real threat to them.
Put the car in park, get out of the car!
You know the Marine Corps veterans.
I don't care what you want.
You can hear the disdain and the anger in their voice. They don't like that their authority has been challenged, and they have decided to become violent towards these women. And then they yell these conflicting orders, and a second later brutalize.
Again, as we saw with Alex Preddy, as we saw with Renee Nicole Good, you can see a absolute... I don't need to be an expert on military tactics and training to know that you probably shouldn't be brandishing literally any weapon with one hand if you are a trained representative of the law. But training doesn't matter. Suppression does. So we need to talk about the other half of this. And that is where this evil has already led and where it's going to continue leading. When you see these things, it should come as no surprise that legal observers are being criminalized, that dissidents of any kind, any stripe, who speak out publicly are being criminalized, targeted, pursued. So it shouldn't surprise you that we continue to see stories like this coming out from Reuters just 3 days ago. That courts have ruled 4,400 times ICE jailed people illegally. It hasn't stopped. Mind you, this is just the stories that make it far enough to be put in front of judges, to have judges rule on them. This is not universal. In fact, this is probably a very, very small number of the total cases. Here we go. Yeah, look, detained immigrants have filed more than 20,000 lawsuits seeking their release. About 700 Justice Department attorneys deployed to represent the government in immigration cases. Hundreds of judges around the country have ruled more than 4,400 times since October that Trump's admin is detaining immigrants unlawfully. Quote, it is appalling that the government insists that this court should redefine or completely disregard the current law as it is currently written. As it is clearly written, sorry. Under Trump, the number of people in ICE detention reached around 78,000 this month, up about 75% from when Trump took office last year. A conservative appeals court, and I want to, again, the thing that gets lost in this is the Democrat discussion of harm reduction, right? Where people will tell you, well, this wouldn't have happened under Kamala. You're right. It wouldn't have happened to this degree. But the infrastructure was still there. The infrastructure was still maintained and expanded and funded under Joe Biden. We didn't shut down the border camps. We didn't stop separating kids from their fucking parents. We just got really quiet about it. Which is why I like it needs to be the standard that ICE will be fucking dissolved for any Dem politician. Because guess what? It is not enough to just not be as bad. We cannot continue upholding the system that allows conservatives to take advantage of it to this extent. You cannot just say, okay, well, we're not doing that anymore, because they have built up structures that in the future they can continue using for whatever they want. So you need to tear those structures down. A conservative appeals court in New Orleans last week gave the administration a victory in its drive to lock up more immigrants. Just because prior administrations did not fully utilize the law to detain people, quote, does not mean they lack the authority to do more. Great. With few other paths to freedom, immigrant detainees have filed more than 20,000 lawsuits demanding their release. In at least 4,421 cases, more than 400 federal judges ruled that since the beginning of October, ICE is holding people illegally as it carries out its mass deportation campaign. Joseph Thomas, an 18-year-old high school student from Venezuela, was arrested during a traffic student in Wisconsin in late December while riding with his father. The men are asylum seekers who entered the U.S. in August 2023. Both are authorized to work. Peltier said they were stopped for, quote, driving while brown. Within a month, judges ordered the release of father and son. Patrick Schultz, also a Bush appointee, ruled that Joseph had been detained illegally. He said Joseph was not subject to mandatory detention, called it a lack of any evidence that ICE had a warrant. U.S. District Judge Eric Tostrud, a Trump appointee, ruled that Joseph's father was eligible for a bond hearing. Quote, this raises an issue of statutory interpretation that courts in this district have repeatedly considered and rejected. Using court dockets, Reuters found more than 700 Justice Department attorneys representing the government in immigration cases. 5 of the attorneys each appeared on the dockets of more than 1,000 habeas cases. In a court order issued last month in Minnesota, Schultz said the government has violated 96 orders in 76 cases. And this is the real big problem with the Democrats wanting to continue to play by the book. Okay, who is going to hold the unaccountable accountable? If they don't care about the book, if they flaunt your rules, if they allow you to get tangled up with legal problem while they continue escalating and escalating their mass campaigns of violence. And it is unfucking believable that people are still out here trying to reconcile with these animals. Nehemiah, thank you for 20. Problem I have with the World War II Allied powers and the handling of the Nazis was they never let victims get justice. Only one man was tried by the victims. Again, I could go off at length about this, but this can't happen again. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, again, the idea of that America was this valorous, wonderful state that just, you know, out of the goodness of our hearts laid down on barbed wire for the rest of the world and delivered Europe and shit is like, it's so ahistorical, yet it is the line that we are constantly fed just because we did have 500,000 U.S. troops die across all the theaters, which, yes, terrible. But that pales in comparison to what the Russian troops had to go through. And also the fact that, like, Operation Paperclip, we saw all the Nazis and saw all the rocket research and was like, yes, we'll use that against the Reds. Like, it was a genuine point of contention. Leading up to our involvement in World War II, it was a genuine point of contention whether or not we wanted to side with Germany or Russia because, oh, we just hated those nasty Reds. Like, fucking craziness. J. Kung 5688, thank you for $2. Where are all the Second Amendment freaks yet? Bad news. They're chill with all this. Judy Rawl, a U.S. citizen, wife of a Venezuelan detainee who has spent almost a year at the Bluebonnet Detention Center in Texas, said she was quoted upwards of $5,000 to file a habeas petition, which she could not afford. She and her husband have a pending immigration case based on their marriage, but the government has declined to release him while the case is being adjudicated. He has no criminal record, but the government has alleged, without providing evidence, he has links to Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which, of course, he fucking doesn't. They're liars. Because you literally cannot trust or believe anything these motherfuckers say. So now we need to talk about what's actually happening in these detainment facilities. It is, of course, not enough that these people are unaccountably harassing, assaulting, murdering civilians, taking innocent people, holding them with no recourse in what are quite legitimately concentration camps. And we will get to the expanding state apparatus and how the United States is spending billions in buying more warehouses for ICE to hold people. No cookie for guessing if that will be limited or not to just illegal immigrants in the future. Because again, I want you to put it's real easy. We got to put 2 and 2 together here. When you have a government that is actively attempting to censor and prevent people from presenting their freedom of speech under the guise that just disagreeing is terrorism, makes you Antifa, makes you a traitor, guilty of treason. And you additionally have an apparatus that is now entirely unaccountable, able to abduct, take people to God knows where for any amount of time with very little oversight and harsh conditions. I do not think it is ridiculous to say at this point that, yeah, probably in the next year, if not already, we very well may start seeing American citizens just rounded up in here. That is what this is leading to if it is not stopped. If the Democrats do not get their fucking shit together. This part is this part's going to be rough for me. I have, if you couldn't tell by how strongly I react to, oh, and yes, of course, there's Russian involvement with the firm, and like there's very likely a money laundering. I forgot about that. There's very likely a money laundering scheme going on with the real estate brokers who own the warehouses to and from the Trump admin, which, like, it is like if we did Iran Contra, but we are the Contras, and also we are running the Coke, but to Russia. It, again, the point of me bringing up Iran Contra is that in a different administration, different years, this would actually be a fucking controversy. But it seems like nobody can be fucked to care. Oh. I react to shit involving children very harshly, if you couldn't tell by the way I talk about. And oh, awesome. If you ever want to remake the anti-Semitism video, hit me up. I'm graduating with minors in history and Jewish studies this year. I will probably re-put it out at some point. I just want to cut off the end part because like I've gone back, revisited it, and while I think Bad and Panada is most certainly bad faith and grasped at straws and all sorts of shit in his critique, which was mostly just like an attempt to bully me into silence. There are points that, like, yeah, I regret how I represented Gaza, and I regret how I represented that conflict in that way. So that is something I will definitely keep in mind, Nehemiah. It is... I forgot where I was going with that. Does ICE have actual military support? I mean, kinda. They can just give them more money. Like that's really all the military support they need. Batterack, thank you very much for 5 months. Mostly a lurker. Want to say I don't know how you manage to constantly look at this stuff. Thank you for talking about it. I've started meditating. Recently, and I highly recommend other people try that too. Being able to take time away. Legitimately, I have a really nice soothing synth downbeat kind of playlist that I will just sit, do some stretching, like try and clear my head, center myself, focus on slightly more positive things. Meditation does help, which I know sounds like woo-woo bullshit, but genuinely it is important for people to, and look, meditation can take different forms for different people. You know, some people's meditation will just be, you know, smoking some weed, putting on an old record. It's you need to take time for yourself is the thing, and I would say that to literally everybody. You need to take time away from bullshit, from the world, because you cannot help anybody. Worrying doesn't help anybody. That's the real problem that a lot of people get mixed up, that I think leads them down these pathways of depression and malaise, is just worrying doesn't help you, doesn't help them. Being aware, educating, spreading knowledge, that does help. Coming up with plans, that does help. And so kind of finding your personal balance there is, I think, where a lot of people need to work harder right now. And Cobalt, thank you very much for following. So this is from the Bulwark. The Bulwark. Liam Ramos was the tip of the iceberg. Dilley Immigration Processing Center, the facility from which 5-year-old Liam and his father were discharged on February 1st, is a place where many other children are still being detained. Their stories are almost too much to bear. There was the 18-month-old baby Amalia, who's suffering from respiratory failure and was rushed to the hospital, where she spent much of the next 10 days. Upon release, officers took her right back into detention, words that boggle the mind to write. And there she was denied daily medication prescribed after her hospital visit, according to a new lawsuit filed last week. Amalia and her family were released last Friday in response to an emergency habeas petition, but for many families in similar situations, there was no clarity about when they or their children might leave or under what conditions. What we're talking about. Again, the reason I did the previous article before this is to talk about the habeas petitions, how many times this is literally their only recourse, and they can be unable to pay for it, outright ignored, overturned at any point. This is a system with no accountability. It is not something that can be reformed. It can only be destroyed, recrafted from the ground up. Carmen Ayala, an aide to Representative Jasmine Crockett, has been in contact with many of the detainees. She told me about Valerie, a 13-year-old who attempted self-harm at Dilley with a knife from the cafeteria. When they say self-harm, from what I understand, it was a suicide attempt. There were some other reporters who were talking about this. Valerie's family arrived on December 13th, one day after they were detained. The family fled Colombia from the United States because the father was sexually abusing the two daughters, 18 and 13. Ayala was told by the girl's family. But after the asylum claim was denied, they faced deportation. It was a sense of hopelessness, Ayala said of Valerie's suicide attempt. They've been in there for months. She's depressed and wants to get out. She saw no way of getting out. She thinks she'll be there forever, and that was her way out. Crockett's office received a privacy waiver from the family and has opened a congressional inquiry. When I asked why Valerie's treatment for self-harm seems to be exclusively a prescription for sleeping pills, ICE did not respond. Then there is the case of Maria Sobrero Chiatupa, who was in the hospital for a few days in December for tests to determine she had breast cancers. Tests weren't conclusive, so her doctors called for a biopsy. She wanted to delay biopsy until a court date she had scheduled for January 14th. She didn't think it would be anything major. She spent the night in a hotel with her 3 children, 2, 8, and 11, and had breakfast with her sister-in-law. They said their goodbyes, and Mariella told her sister-in-law to wait nearby. It would likely only be 2 hours. Later, however, she received a call. Quote, "We've been detained. Don't wait for us." Her sister-in-law said that she has complained to her about her deteriorating health and treatment. They don't give me my medication only when they want. Adding her breast gets hard like a rock, and she is only given her medication when the nurse arrives. If the nurse doesn't come, she doesn't get it. Ayala was also told by Mariella that her breast is turning beet red. She told Mari that a week ago, she asked a guard to give her fussy 2-year-old to his father, who was also in detention because her breast was causing her so much pain. She was told, no, you have to keep him. He can't be with his father. Tricia McLaughlin did not respond to specific questions about her treatment, why her medication had been withheld, whether she will be allowed to seek outside medical condition. She only said, quote, "That doesn't sound right, but we'll run this down." Which, as we know again, one of the reasons that I'm saving this for last is to show that anything they say is a fucking lie. They have no accountability. They do not care. That is why there are so many stories of this coming out, because they think they will get away with it. They think they will not be held accountable. And it is contingent upon you to push any candidate, to push anybody who you think can help stop or slow this machine down in any way, to play a small role. If you know somebody, if you have a family member who's gone into ICE, if you have somebody that you know who works in the government, You better be pilling them on this shit. Because again, I guarantee there are people inside the system right now who have no idea how they got there, what they can do. But you absolutely can slow and prevent the system from within. This is from thebulwark.com. Mari told me she can't understand why people like Mariella are being treated this way. Quote, as a Latina and as a mother, it worries more for the situation for the mothers. They're in there with their kids suffering, but they have to hold in the pain, she said in Spanish, adding that her 2-year-old nephew doesn't understand where he is and is getting aggressive in a way he never was before. Quote, I think the conditions and the suffering is inhumane. They shouldn't be going through that. There is no way to know how now an entire generation of kids are going to be fucking affected by this. I'll be right back. I need some water really quick. As I wrote this newsletter on Thursday, Ayala told me of a promising new development. The court gave her more time until March 10th to fight to remain in the U.S., but unfortunately they ignored the medical records. Judge said there's nothing he can do, and that the detention center is responsible for her treatment. It's amazing. Again, we could spend billions of fucking dollars on aid to Israel, on creating new concentration camps. These stories aren't outliers. They're more common we'd like to admit. ProPublica reported this week that 3,500 detainees have been at Dilley since it reopened. More than half of them have been minors. While a legal settlement in effect since 1997 holds that children can be held in immigration for a maximum of 20 days, ProPublica determined that more than 300 kids have been there for longer than a month. Letters from inside the facility obtained by ProPublica are unfailingly heartbreaking. Just like Liam Ramos, the kids who wrote miss their friends and Happy Meals from McDonald's. Suzanne Fernandez, 9, who was in Houston when her mom and her were detained, has had her opinions on the U.S. forever changed. Quote, I have been 50 days in Dilley Immigration Processing Center, she wrote. Seeing how people like me, immigrants, are being treated, changes my perspective about the U.S. My mom and I came to the U.S. looking for a good and safe place to live. Here we go. A former Dilley employee served in the armed forces spoke to me on condition of anonymity about what they witnessed. They said they took the job because it paid the most in the area. They have been led to believe there were only women in the facility. They soon realized the unsettling truth. Not just women, but entire families were detained inside, including children and even newborn babies. This former employee struggled daily with what they saw, being politically opposed to ICE and what Trump was doing, but rationalized their involvement as a way to help those, to counterbalance the fact that almost everyone who works for Trump... Cat? Miss? All right. This cat's pissing me off. Sorry, she's been dancing around me all day. Like, I know she wants to cuddle, but I'm not in the mood for it, cat. She's on her tower right now. I didn't put her in anything bad. Femboys, thank you for following. Badarak, thank you for... Oh, I already... Yeah, thank you again for that. The food, which has been described as overly seasoned and nasty, one day detainees receive chicken, another day beef, and every few days they get hot dogs. Quote, they're tired of it, and that's why they're saying it's nasty. They said when people go for medical attention because they're vomiting, for instance, more often than not, they're given Tylenol or Advil. All the kids are sick. I've never gotten sick before, but when I worked there, I was always sick. It's hard for children to sleep because the lights are always on in the rooms. They're treated like criminals, but most of them have done it the right way. They were picked up at their court appointments. People complain that they're doing it the wrong way, but when they do it the right way, you detain and deport them. And forget about the 20-day detention limit. The former employees said they know a mother who's been there for 130 days. That woman's 11-year-old daughter has been with her the whole time, and her depression has gotten so bad she won't eat. They're all sad, the source says. They're locked in and sad and depressed. This isn't what I fought for while in the military. I have PTSD as it is. Now adding this, I can barely sleep thinking about those families. They said 100% Dilley should be shut down, children should be sent home. Here's the quote. If I knew this was happening, if I knew it was really like this, I wouldn't have served. There are fucking reasons why they want facilities that are closed in, unobservable, and unaccountable. Because the public sentiment is already swayed so far against Trump because of all the shit with ICE. If we saw what was really happening, if the world saw what was really happening, the way they did unavoidably with Alex Preddy, with Renee Nicole Good, but instead, as Democrats continue to do nothing, they are expanding. Over the past several months, ICE and the Department of Homeland Security have carried out a secret campaign to expand their physical presence. More than 150 leases and office expansions have or would place new facilities in nearly every state, many of them just outside of the country's largest metropolitan areas. In many cases, these facilities, which are to be used by street-level ICE agents and ICE attorneys, are located near elementary schools, medical offices, places of worship. In El Paso, for example, the agency is moving into a large campus of buildings right off of Interstate 10 near multiple local health providers and other businesses. Since Trump took office in 2025, ICE has more than doubled in size. DHS claims the agency has 22,000 officers and agents stationed around the country and is still in the process of hiring more. The agency received nearly $80 billion in funding as part of Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, giving it virtually unlimited resources to combat what the administration has consistently portrayed as an invasion. An invasion of what? Fucking sick children? Here we go. By early November, according to documents viewed by Wired, 19 projects have been awarded in cities around the U.S., including Nashville, Dallas, Sacramento, Tampa. Multiple projects were days away from being awarded in Miami, Pittsburgh, and New Orleans. Repeatedly outlined its expansion to cities, the September memorandum citing unusual and compelling urgency for office expansions states the OPLA will be expanding its legal operations. Months after the surge, ICE's expansion to American cities is well underway. The table below gives a detailed listing of planned ICE lease locations as of January and includes current ICE offices that are set to expand and new spaces that agency is poised to occupy. This, by the way, amazing work from Wired. The fucking cojones it takes right now to publicly come out knowing full well what happens. Knowing full well that the writer of this, they can track him down in a fucking heartbeat. As of January, ICE's expansion is heavily concentrated in a few key states. Texas has at least 9 leasing projects. ICE appears to be moving into a building. Trump admin official recently told Wired that California and New York are, quote, next for the type of fraud investigations that culminated in 3,000 ICE agents in Minneapolis. How did that fucking turn out, you goddamn idiots? What the... The same pattern plays out in dozens of other cities. ICE's expansion includes not just its own pre-existing space or sharing an office, but situates its agents near sensitive civilian locations that often include places of worship. Fucking unbelievable. God damn. The documenting work is unbelievable here. Oh, sorry. Koa texted me. What's the article called? The article was from Wired. God damn. ICE is expanding across the U.S. This was from a couple days ago. Thankfully, I think Nick Shirley has proven himself to be such a toxic dipshit, Mackenzie, that I can't imagine literally anybody going to bat for that idiot. Like I know some people are gonna be spreading his bullshit, but the thing that he did, where he's like, yeah, they registered a dog to vote, and it was like immediately fucking debunked with receipts by people who were like, no, this happened back. People talked about this shit months and months ago, and it was actually conservative, and they got charged, and so like it's not a fucking story. Yeah. I don't. I'm tired, dude. Like, is it really so much to fucking ask that we have so many resources? We have so much we could do for each other together. And these people want to run interference for pedophiles, stop accountability for monsters, and to add insult to injury, they are victimizing children to do it. What do you even say? On the subject of oh, YouTube's probably not back yet, huh? Hey, yo, there we go. On the subject of that's an insane thing to say. Erica Kirk stuff is fucking wild too. I don't want to go into that. Wonder if this is how it felt in Rome, where you watch the inevitable fall of the known civilization, and you can't stop it. I mean, it's this. So I've been thinking. I showed my partner, because I got them to sit down and watch. They have a lot of movies they haven't seen, and I'm always the person who's like, oh, you got to watch this. So we sat down and watched a couple weeks ago Terminator 1 and 2. And I was like, okay, we got to watch the third in the trilogy, Terminator Dark Fate, which is my favorite Terminator 3. And as I was watching it, and I kept seeing these ideas that were presented in there, and particularly how Sarah Connor, like, is the person who everybody thinks is fucking insane. Like, and she's really the only one who knows what the fuck happens. And it makes me feel like, because you have put yourself in that character's shoes. And I realize this is, very Reddit lib shit to be like, I actually like my movies. But to put yourself in that character's shoes, where a collapse is coming, something bad is coming, and all you can really do is prepare yourself, prepare the people you love, and watch the world just continue along their route. Because collapse doesn't happen quickly. These things are infestations. It's like when an invasive plant species grows in the foundation of something. There might be pieces that come off over time, but the collapse takes a long time to come about. When it does, when the structure finally falls, it might fall all at once. It might fall one part at a time, one wall bringing down another. But it takes a long time to get there, and that's what we're in the middle of. I was going to talk about the shooter today. I kind of don't want to, because we know what it is. It came out immediately that there was another trans shooter who, and like I've been saying, again, you want to talk about my consistency, as we talked about at the beginning of the show. I've been saying this now for multiple years, where you cannot just, when you have these incidents of public and mass violence, a lot of the time you can call back to right-wing radicalization of some stripe, but you cannot reliably tamp down on any particular ideology. Like, you will not be able to, because of the information atmosphere we're in, because everybody is living in their own disparate reality, or at least when it comes to people who need healthcare, need mental assistance, who are usually rejected, where it is harder and harder to get, you can't really trust and say, okay, well, this person was for sure inspired by Trump. This person was for sure inspired by the left. Usually, there's some kind of incitement that usually comes from the right wing, because so much of their rhetoric around being replaced is this existential struggle. But the people themselves are ideological stews. They are blends, miasmas, just created through going through so many weird online rabbit holes. That is as much true of this person as it was about the person who immolated themselves outside of the Trump appointment, the person who shot at firefighters in the hills of Idaho, the person who decapitated Justin Moan, who decapitated his own dad, the person who blew himself up in a Cybertruck outside of Trump Tower. Like, they don't fit neatly along any ideological lines, which is why, on a personal level, it is folly to try and say, okay, this person definitely belonged to this camp. That will, however, not stop the most depraved and opportunistic of propagandists from doing that very thing. So what we have now is, you know, who we can rely on for this, I guarantee. Because I know he thinks it's such an important thing to be talking about right now. Oh, man, the real history of slavery. Okay, I guess he hasn't talked about it. Damn. Is that tomorrow? Ooh, okay, you know what? We got something even better. Tomorrow, Matt Walsh's Real History of Slavery. Woof. Let's go. What is trans shooter? Let's just look up trans shooter. Weaponized kindness. What the fuck are you talking about? All right. So, another trans shooter. There you go, Ben Shapiro. Media blackout on trans shooter yesterday. Okay, yeah, let's see what you... Yeah, you seem like you would know.
Well, y'all, the details...
Is that not Steven Crowder? Oh, I Rise Again. Is the real history of slavery going to be 10 hours of other Africans sold them and actually slaves were expensive? Yeah. I am almost sure it's going to be actually blacks profited from the transatlantic slave trade. And, you know, they told you that Columbus raped and murdered the indigenous populations, but actually they were killing each other for thousands of years. And it's like, okay, dude, awesome. Real good comeback is, what about, It's like, yeah, that doesn't actually prevent the thing that did happen from being bad just because other people were doing bad shit too. That doesn't prevent it being true that thousands, hundreds of thousands of people were shipped over here in unbelievably inhumane conditions by white people against their will and were the bedrock of this fucking country. Like, yeah, I thought this was like Steven Crowder what got stung by a lot of bees. This is not that. I don't believe.
As we were waiting on just dropped, and in fact, we had a few more little morsels about this individual who was shooting his family inside a hockey game in high school in Rhode Island. It's like the...
I can tell already by the tone that this person is genuinely very concerned and definitely cares that innocent lives were lost in a probably quite preventable tragedy of mental illness. That probably had very little to do with being transgender. Probably had more to do with being an online weirdo. So if you don't know, the trans shooter yesterday who killed two of their children, their wife, and then themselves in a public hockey game was a far-right online neo-Nazi. And when I say that, I mean they had a Totenkopf tattoo with SS lightning bolts prominently displayed on their arm. That's not accidental shit. That's not something that you can be like, oh no, actually it's Mullen Labe. Oh, actually it's no, it's not 14. Like, you can't, that's not an accidental whoopsie. Like that, you might as well have put a portrait of Hitler on top of a swastika. Like, it is a hat on a hat of I'm a racist. So, and it's also come out that they loved a lot of various conservative commentators and would talk about how they weren't one of the crazy transes and talked about loving Blair White and said Nick ruled and how America should be for whites only. And it's like, It's crazy. It's almost like right-wing ideology inherently favors the idea of individualism over any kind of collectivism, and that individualism often results in outbursts of individual violence in a state that doesn't value, and when I say state, I mean, the country that doesn't value people's mental health, their well-being, social safety nets. Like, wild. Who could have predicted this? Myself, their ideology was totally incoherent. That's what I've been saying. Like, it is. And by the way, I don't say that as a way to, because I'm worried that by me saying that, like, oh yeah, their ideology is incoherent, that people will see it as like me trying to hand wave it away. So you shouldn't look at it. You shouldn't go and like dig into it because, well, your mileage is going to vary by how much of this shit you can take. I have looked at a lot of these manifestos. I've looked at a lot of these fucking like shooters and wackadoos, and I'm unfortunately used to it. I'm a little bit more inoculated to it than I think a lot of other people are. So, mileage is going to vary there. But you should look into these people insofar as it is necessary to understand how divergent and nonsensical many of their worldviews are. Right? Because when you do dig into these people, there are not mass shooters. Rarely are there mass shooters who have a coherent worldview if they leave behind any kind of manifesto. We're talking about the femcel Groiper and the black Nazi incel teenager shooters from last year. One of them left behind a fucking manifesto that talked about how, like, was basically saying white people were the real N-word, if I'm remembering correctly. And stuff that you look at and you're like, oh, okay. Usually it is a case of somebody who is socially isolated, who is led down online pathways of indoctrination or radicalization to blame other people for the problems that a lot of other people are also suffering with. Mental illness is one of those fucking problems that is becoming endemic to American society because we give our outlets and the emphasis on the individual mean that so many people see the best way forward as one of explicit violence, or the only way out is one of explicit violence. Like, it's very frustrating to constantly go into these cycles. And then to have it weaponized even more so against trans people. Nehemia, thank you for $5. Let me say something about who owned the ships. Walsh tomorrow. I don't doubt it. Mira Extra, thank you for another 5. We have Steven Crowder at home. Just kidding. Nobody has Steven Crowder at home anymore. Oh, that's fucking good, Mira Extra. Fucking got him. Hell yeah. Motoko of Dreams, you're good at these topics. Way to go. Right to the important point before you even hear whatever this dipshit has to say and get all scared or whatever. I try. Because I kind of know where this is heading. I mean, of course it is. Like, I'm, Let's do our regular thing. No, 768. I think it's 768. No, 09A, and there's another number. No, I haven't gone down 09A's rabbit hole because I have been told by several people not to. And at this point, in my ability, I am going to keep listening to that. Yeah, we have not looked into that yet, but there are people who have. If you want to Google it, I don't want to talk about it right now. But what do we think this guy is going to really talk about? I'm willing to bet this is just going to be blaming transgender illness and talking about how all trans people want to kill people, judging by the stars and the home and garden ass decoration. I'm willing to bet he'll also talk about something Christianity, family values, replacing the family, maybe how awful it is for a trans woman to transition while being married and all that stuff. Well, we'll see.
can of worms was opened and then thrust all over the floor. But I don't only want to tell you what's going on with this. I also want to show you something that is really deafening for the whole silence, along with a nice little tie-in to the big progressive push on the Democrats. This is going to be a fun one. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Of course, hit that like button.
I'm glad that somebody murdering their family is going to be a fun one for you. I can tell again how seriously the same people are taking it when they want to talk about how we need to defend society from transes. That the opening is be sure to like and subscribe. Fucking 740,000 subscribers on this dipshit. Yeah, really, Langley Outdoors Academy, I'm sure, buddy.
Button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Let's dive right in, people. We have got to talk about something. So, what we're looking at right now is the individual who is confirmed who shot his family and children in a hockey rink in Rhode Island yesterday. Now, this could not be more of an image that is rife for the left to run on all their gun control, all their anti-MAGA, all their anti-conservative, everything in the world, except...
In what way? In what way is a person with a the only way you can say, oh, the left is going to try and take our guns because look at this, is if you are ascribing a conservative value to the Nazi symbol. That is such a bizarre, weird admission. Yes, this is a real photo. I have never felt, by the way, I have never felt so assured. No, assured is a wrong word. Because I am not sure. I've never felt like a psyop was playing off in front of my fucking face. Like, what the fuck do you mean? This person who looks like a literal walking caricature of trans women, who does not appear to be taking any real effort to pass. And granted, passing isn't the be-all end-all. Everybody's gender journey is different. This is like, I do not want to pass judgment in saying that on other people's experiences. You are still valid, loved, treasured. But you mean to tell me that of the 2 last mass shooters who've been trans, they just so happen to exactly 1,000% line up with people's preconceived notions of what trans people look like and act like? The notions that are most shilled by conservatives. It's like, I don't want to say for sure. Because everybody is a special little snowflake. And some people are going to be weird fucking snowflakes. That's fine. I mean, what they did is not fine. But at some point, you got to ask. Really? Like you can't find any trans women that look like the hundreds of trans women I know? Like we haven't had any shooters that just look like all of the trans people that people know. I don't know. You know what? Actually, Queen of Swords, yeah, you're right. I believe a trans Nazi looks like that, no problem. Yeah, okay, you know what? You're probably right. Yeah, Draxus, and I don't want to get too far into conspiracy on this, but I just wanted to bring it up. It's just fucking weird. But yeah, you're right. Like again, you can tell this person is a Nazi by the fucking Totenkopf tattoo, which is wild that didn't get their shit pushed in on the daily. Thank you for $5. Also, speaking of initials, Christy Gnome's full name is Christy Lynn Allen Gnome. I'm not joking. Are you fucking kidding me? No fucking way. Arnold Gnome. I can't believe they got Femme Hitler and her name is the fucking Klan. Are you kidding me? Y'all Klan? Yes. What the fuck? Everything's so fucking stupid. Everything's so fucking stupid. Anyway, let's see what this dipshit. I just did research. There are currently 45 mass shootings in the U.S. so far, not including gunshots for different reasons, etc. Thank you for $5, El Salve. Oh yeah, no, we have literal shootings every day in America. Is Lynn or Arnold a Klan name? No, her name spells Klan. Her initials spell Klan, K-L-A-N, like literally with a K, like Ku Klux.
That one sacred cow, which trumps everything else. In fact, you would think that this Nazi tattoo right here, oops, sorry, hold on. You would think that this Nazi tattoo right here with the twin thunderbolts, you'd think that might be a bit of an issue with the media. You know, since everyone's a fascist if they disagree with you and everyone's a Nazi, except the actual people who are a little confused with gender transfer.
Is he? I'm sorry. Is he going to take the line that nobody is going to pay attention, like that liberals and leftists are going to be cool with this Nazi because they're trans? That the left is going to, they can't not defend a trans person? Are you fucking... I shouldn't ask. It's quite obvious. You're fucking stupid. Jesus Christ.
Excuse me, with gender dysphoria, and then you have actual Nazi iconography on their arms. You'd think this is rife for a story, wouldn't you? Yeah, but here's the problem, and this we're gonna get into all the details, but this is what I want to highlight for you.
I can't wait until all of your fucking shit is just, all of your proof is just, yeah, I saw it on Twitter. Nobody's talking about this on Twitter.
Look at the news right now. This is right now. I'll even
look at the news right now. Goes to Google. Okay, don't actually look at any like sources that might be talking about it. It's almost like we have new shit to deal with in this country because of the government that you fucking support literally every day. What the fuck are you talking about? These are all different stories too. Like 2 hours ago, 6 minutes ago, you're saying news right now for something that happened, when was this? 9 hours ago. Something that happened yesterday. Are you...
and refresh it in real time to prove my point. Watch this. I'm going to refresh that. These are the top stories if you Google news in the United States right now.
Yeah, because guess what? Reverend Jesse Jackson died sooner than the person killed those people. Like, what the fuck are you... What?
Now, Jesse Jackson dies, some diplomacy, Hillary Clinton, cocaine booms, Colbert slams CBS, live updates, Nancy Guthrie. You know, maybe they just didn't make the top page. Maybe the issue is that I'm not doing it right and I'm showing you things. This is why I'm doing this in real time, by the way. I always bring you the receipt.
I always bring you the receipts. Yeah, receipts for transactions that are not fucking going through, dog. Lady, hey, knock it off. God, she's being such a butthead today. Yeah, as if we don't have 1,000 tragic stories right now. Exactly, Coda Anthony. As though, like, A, nothing else is going on.
No, I just said news in general. And as we scroll down, there's not a peep of a family that was killed in Rhode Island by a transgender with Nazi tattoos all over their arms. Not a peep. There's Hegseth, there's Coast Guard.
Oh, look at that. Google suggestion. I look up Rhode Island. Rhode Island shooting is right up at the top. Oh, look at that. 7 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 9 minutes ago. Well, it's almost like there are so many shootings in America at any given time that the entire populace is completely desensitized to them. And sites like Google, through their algorithm, have to prioritize stuff that will be more attention grabbing. and immediate. Far be it from me to provide an explanation for this bullshit when you could just make, I just made a conspiracy theory, so I'm not going to be throwing stones in glass houses.
Guys, I'm going to get into all the details here in a second.
Will you?
But I just want to give you a little shared experience.
Oh, okay, bucko.
In my career, I have literally seen the left turn any and everything that has gun-related violence to it. That's what they call it, gun violence, right? It's not gun violence. It's individuals using guns. But I've seen them.
Again, this is going to be one of these guys who will hear Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck or Tucker Carlson say, well, this leftist is saying that's gun-related violence. It's violence done by a gun person. And then accept that, oh yeah, this is how the leftists talk about everything, and nobody fucking, like, crazy. You literally cannot think about yourself, like, for yourself.
Happens in the Democrat and the mainstream media and the leftists. They do this thing where if it's the slide ruler effect and it works in every single area, then they cover it ad nauseum for 48, 72 hours. And they blame you for every problem in the United States. But if it doesn't fit those slide rules, then it just doesn't exist, i.e. right here. Now, again, you would think that Nazis...
i.e. right here. Here's, let's see, we got Providence Journal, local news, NBC Boston, Fox News, New York Times, Bangor Daily News, USA Today, BBC, WCVB, NBC, CBS, New York Post. Oh, New York Post got it. PBS, WMUR, CNN, Yahoo Sports, WPRI, AP News, The Guardian, New York Times again. Damn, AP News, Guardian, ESPN, Politico, Al Jazeera. Kind of seems like you didn't look at all, dude.
Tattoos with actual thunderbolts on their arms would be an important thing. But again, it doesn't fit the narrative. Then we go over to the other really uncomfortable little part. This is the Senate progressive running for Maine. This is Graham Plattner.
Yeah, no, this didn't cause any fucking waves. This wasn't a controversy that leftists talked about at all, dude. Really got your fucking finger on the pulse from, what was this, 9 months ago, 8 months ago?
You see that thing on his chest right there? Yeah, that's the guy actually running for Senate of United States, Maine.
Well, actually, it's not. It's this now. But again, you didn't really do much research to know that he got it covered up. Like don't get me wrong. You can criticize Graham whether he knew that was a symbol or not, whether he knew what the Totenkopf was or he thought it was actually just a fucking, like, cool looking skull. I have my fucking doubts, honestly. I don't understand how you fucking, like, personally, how do you get a Totenkopf tattoo and not know what it is, big dog? Putting that aside, he did cover it. So, not really the point I think you're making.
That guy right there has the exact same tattoo on his arm as the transgender gender dysphoria victim that was just that just eliminated his family.
Why do you fucking talk like this? What is wrong with you that you talk about other people this way, you fucking freak?
All right, maybe I'm just doing the job for him again. This is important. I feel like it would be news as well. U.S. House passes bill to ban transgender surgeries for children. I think the appropriate word there would be finally. Why was that not a thing to begin with? Also, follow-up question: why was that a thing to begin with?
Follow-up question: it wasn't. It's literally again. You want to know why nobody's paying attention to it? Because it's performative nonsense that doesn't actually really affect anybody. It's just grandstanding. But people like you completely buying into it. Shocking. Adderall Lynn, I do not buy him researching and getting a Fenrir tattoo to cover up a Totenkopf. Yeah, that's the other thing that I'm like, well, fuck, I'm watching you, Graham Plattner. I'm watching you. But, like, also Graham Plattner could just be, here's the thing. I don't want to give him too much credit or credence, but at the same time, he doesn't strike me. He strikes me as somebody who is more genuine than he is smart. Or at least not conniving enough to think that he could do something like that and get away with it, if that makes sense. There's like I don't think I'm ever going to give him, and not that it fucking matters for me in that race, but like ever going to give him a broad like seal of approval. And I most certainly understand why other people wouldn't. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, though. And I know that's a failing on my part more often than not. Yeah. Anyway. Is our defense for this seriously to say the shooter wasn't trans? No. Did I say that? I didn't say that. El Salve, thank you for $5. Before the Pawtucket shooting, there were 40-plus shootings this year with much higher death count. I followed 2 separate shootings with 6 deaths each. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the kind of mistakes Plantner made definitely out him as a dum-dum. Exactly. Exactly. What's the deal with the shooter? Trans Nazi killed her family and herself at a public hockey game. Oh, thank you, Canadian Goose. Thank you for another 5 back. I hope you have a good stream. Back into the past I go to the beginning of the stream. Have fun. The early part is more fun than right now. Mary Kelly's, it seems suspicious that anyone's dude has over 700k subscribers, but most of his videos don't crack 75k views. No, the views are weird. Like, views go up and down in weird ways sometimes. Yeah. I did. No 101. Thank you for $5. You see the MAGA dad that shot his daughter in Texas and got off scot-free? Yeah. We're probably going to talk about that tomorrow.
Okay. Anyway, keep on going on. This is really important stuff that no one apparently is going to tell you. Apparently, it just doesn't exist. Poof, magic trick, doesn't exist. The hockey game massacre in Rhode Island today would be the 3rd major case of transgender suspect involved in a mass shooting in the last year. Something is very, very wrong here. And don't listen to me. Listen to the actual individual.
I will not listen to you. Again, we just talked about 50 shootings in the last year. I wonder how many more of them were men, white men, if we want to talk about demographics being responsible for shit, as opposed to transgenders.
Individual in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Can you confirm whether the suspect's a male, female? You've heard that it's a transgender person. Is that something that you have in terms of information?
So what I can say right now that we have identified the person, the suspect, by the birth name. The birth name was Robert Dorgan. We have also learned that the person does go by the name of Roberta, also uses the last name of Esposito. But again, that will be all.
Okay, I mean, like, guys, it's confirmed. We know it now. So what would you do if you were a leftist organization that was dedicated solely to taking the rights of American citizens through?
Fucking bold to still be pulling that bullshit line right now. Oh, the left wants to take away our guns and they're going to use this as a... Like, how are you in the big 2-6, big dog, and still moving like Alex Jones from 20 years ago? How are in 2026, you're sitting out here being like, the leftists want to take all of our guns, and this is obviously a false flag operation that they're going to use to crack down on Second Amendment. It's like, dude, you got the people you support out here shooting people in the street and abducting children. What?
Your entire charter, like Giffords.org. This is a gun control group in the United States. Another shooting that endangered and traumatized students, this time at a high school hockey game in Rhode Island. 2 people were killed and at least 3 others were injured.
And they're citing NBC News, the thing that you just said the mainstream media wasn't paying attention to this. And here is the thing that you're literally showing the mainstream media paying attention to it.
Our hearts are with the community as we await more information. I got some more information for you, you hacks. This was a transgender individual who is literally donning tattoos from the Nazi regime on their arms. They have completed full-blown gender reversal surgery, and they just killed their ex-wife and their children and shot a few others. So yeah, let's go ahead and go down this road of, oh my God, it's the guns. Is it the guns? Really?
Do you think that the gun culture might play a part in it? Do you really, like, I cannot believe that you're going to get to this point and be like, yeah, no, guns are definitely not the problem and nobody ever did anything bad because of having access to guns. Like, can I get a check on the surgery claim? Also, yeah, I don't think, I have not heard anything about that. I feel it's probably more the Nazi thing than anything, if I'm being real.
It's not anything else in this image. Nothing else. No gender dysphoria issues. No tattoos. Nothing. Everything.
Do these people think gender dysphoria makes you violent? Like, what? He keeps saying gender dysphoria, but I genuinely don't think he understands what that entails or what it means. Like, he has just heard it and is repeating it to be like, yes. No, you're right. Yeah, they do. Because they do think that way. They think that, like, we talked about this, I think, last stream, where they think taking estrogen makes you more violent. They tweeted that they were post-op. Okay. Sure.
It's fine. It's the inanimate objects, right? Okay, let's keep on trucking because they just got a little bit of my fury. Here's an example that...
Reliable source, if ever one there was. Benny Dick Suckin' Johnson. Let's go. Colorado Springs identified as non-binary as a joke. We know some of these also just weren't true. One of them, I believe it was Aberdeen. One of these was also another out-and-out Nazis. Trump's attempted assassin Thomas Cruise to use they, them pronouns. Get the fuck out of here. Tyler Robinson had a furry obsession and lived... Like, what did I say? Did I say that they were going to try and tie the furry shit to trans people like they always do? A furry obsession and lived with his transgender boyfriend. That was transgender girlfriend. Exploring gender identity. Crazy, dog. Trans violence is an epidemic and the threat is escalating. Better never catch you lacking on Grindr, Benny.
Benny Johnson just put out of all the different gender dysphoria related shootings that occurred in the short history of this issue. It's now being...
Short history of this issue?
reported that the Pawtucket, Rhode Island hockey game arena shooter...
Discordant Vol. I mean, I too have a furry obsession, still a body count of 0. Hey, I mean, I'm the radical leftist transgender, and I got a body count, but not dropping bodies, you know what I'm saying?
Was transgender added to the list. I'm going to read the list. Tumblr.
It's a, you know, you might see it as an odd thing for him to read this very simple list, but for his audience, he has to do it because they can't.
Ridge, Annunciation Catholic Church School identified. Nashville Christian shooter, Lakewood Church shooter, Colorado Springs shooter, Denver shooter, Aberdeen shooter, Iowa High School shooter, Charlie Kirk's assassin, Trump's assassin Thomas Crooks. Are you guys seeing this? Okay. Radical gender ideology is pushing unstable individuals towards violence and targeting innocent people. Yes, that is exactly what is happening. It is pushing people who are unstable towards violence of others. And
it can't be the pressure cooker that we're all in, pushing us all towards violence, towards each other. No, it has to be the radical transes. The people who are being constantly targeted for violence by people like this, by people like Matt Walsh, by these constant narratives that they are violent, unhinged predators. And then when you actually do have people in the community, well, I wouldn't say this person was necessarily in the trans community. When you do have trans people who are also dealing with other mental issues that we constantly vilify, target people over, don't provide adequate support services, social safety nets, security for, and have a culture that glorifies individualism and then guns. Yeah, gosh, it's fucking crazy. What Who could have seen this happening? When you make the material conditions for everybody's lives constantly and consistently worse, and then vilify one particular group, who could have seen there being outliers within that group who will lash out in a violent way? Which, by the way, people do regardless of if they're trans or not. There just happen to be people who are trans who are lashing out with violence. And I know they don't give a fuck because they don't talk about all the other times that people die in random violence. They don't talk about all the times that trans people are targeted and murdered. When trans women's bodies wash up on shores after months of being missing. And people just shrug and go, well. Oh, they were trans, probably a prostitute. Oh, they were trans, probably deserved it. Oh, they were trans, probably went to a woman's bathroom. So miss me with this bullshit that it is a unique epidemic in trans circles. When every time one of these people go bonkers, there's someone who is so clearly bought into at least some of the narratives that you are supplying them. Whether that was this dipshit being thinking she was one of the good ones and following Blair White and Nick Fuentes. Like, at the end of the day, this person agreed more with them than any radical leftist, trans Democrat operative, or whatever the fuck they want to say. And it was still a completely incoherent ideology. You still cannot completely blame an ideology for what happened. Because guess what? Neither on the left nor the right do these ways of thinking, doesn't matter how radical you are, give you an answer to your problems through violence, through rampant, indiscriminate violence of random people. Now, there are ideologies on the right that are just simply terrorism. People like the ones that used to operate through Atomwaffen Division, where they do just want to sow chaos and murder and mayhem and confusion. There's not really any of that on the left. But what you can extrapolate from the fact that so many of these people fall along these bizarre ideological tangents, and the fact that very few of these ideologies advocate open violence, is that they're operating outside of these ideologies. They aren't operating in favor of trans rights or getting revenge for trans people. They went on a killing spree because they were deeply unwell. And nobody cared, or nobody noticed, or they were given a gun. It is a story that we have heard so many times before. White people, black people, women. You cannot bring it down to, oh, well, this ideology told them to do this. This ideology told them to do this. The radical left, the radical right, the radical left. Because these pressures that worked upon all of these people, doesn't matter which mass shooter they were, are the same ones frying all of our brains right now. These inconsistencies, the incongruities that we see between how the world should be working and how it actually is working are driving all of us fucking crazy to various extents. The idea that we know people in the Epstein files were culpable for human trafficking, for murder, for rape, and these motherfuckers are not swinging, they're not in prison right now. Okay, that's one little revelation. And then I want you to think back through the last 15 fucking years of social progress, for lack of a better term, as we move to this point. I want you to think about how everybody's brain has been consistently fried over and over and over again by COVID, by lockdowns, by mask mandates, by Wayfair, by QAnon, by Trump, by Russiagate, by BlueAnon, by conspiracy after conspiracy that ultimately serve no more purpose than to justify the things happening around us along our ideological lines, to maintain the status quo as things continue to get worse. And then when it comes down to tragedy, inevitably, in a society like this that prizes and values violence as a last resort, we can still sit back and feel comfortable being, well, actually, it wasn't me. Actually, I didn't do it. It was them over there. And guess what? That's why the cycle keeps fucking going. Because nobody wants to address the root causes. Everybody wants to point fucking fingers. Everybody wants to play for their team. All right, chat. I think that was the last of my my energy for the night. My partner is out doing some wonderful work. Well, my partner is out doing karaoke. Sorry, I was gonna say I'm doing some wonderful work. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I'm gonna go get some food. Well, I have food at home, but I'm gonna go do some karaoke with my boo thing. We can go see. Who do we want to raid? Do we want to raid Frogan? Or we haven't raided USA Hole in a minute. Or we can do Maple Takes or Actual Jake. Good night, swag havers. Are less cortisol drippy? What do you mean, Draxus Stormscope? What do you mean? What? Hey, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What are you going to sing? I'm probably not going to sing. My partner is the singer. I mean, I'm also a singer, but my partner's a better singer. All right, everybody, we're going to go over, say hi to Maple Takes over on Twitch. They've been really good to me. They've been rating us a lot, so we'll go say hi to them. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your night. We have videos coming soon. Don't forget the one with American McGee will be coming soon to the channel, so keep an eye on that. And then another Christian movie review, hopefully coming this Friday. So I hope to see